Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tools and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Thomas van der Zander, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Jason Hornsby, JMails24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Retro Bill, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon are below this video. With that, I'll hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
What's up, Neil? How you doing?
Who's that, Vax?
Yes, sir. Oh, I need to ask you like a real world question at some time. Like, you're a flooring guy. I got to get my floors replaced.
Yeah, what do you got down?
Well, it's in a double wide. It's like this old linoleum, but it's like when we moved in, like a piece was kind of chipped up, and then just over the past year, it's gotten to the point where it's just the whole floor is ripping. But I've never I was gonna just buy the little snap together pieces that it looks like fake wood. I was gonna get that, but I gotta change out some of the subflooring too. Like probably two pieces of plywood, like a 4x4 piece here and a 4x4 piece here, where it's kind of sagged in because it's old. But
yeah, you just gotta make sure you get some studs. And
see,
you
that's
just
the thing. I
cut it
don't know.
right out. When you cut the wood out,
like if
you got to be able to nail a new.
Sorry,
you gotta
my bad.
be
Go
able
ahead.
to nail.
So if the plywood itself is sagging, do you think the studs might need to be changed out too?
No, you got to take the plywood out. Make sure you're reaching the studs.
Right.
You may have to add some more wood so you can nail into it. You know, 2x4s or whatever they got down there.
Yeah.
If you see that the what do you call it? That they're rotted, then you got to change them. Because I noticed with those double wides and those trailers, they get freaking termite problems. That was the job I just did. The whole freaking subfloor was spots everywhere. We had to rip up. And then when you're going to put the new one down, freaking studs are just falling apart because of the termites.
Ooh.
So you don't know until you open that up.
I've never seen termites. Like, I feel like if there was if termites were eating at it, then there'd be evidence of them, elsewhere. But I don't know.
Not really. You don't know. They may be just eating on them studs. You'll know when you cut out your freaking subfloor. Just cut out the area that's rotten. So then you'll be able to see. And then you'll know how much further you got to go to reach another stud and see what they look like.
Man, the more I'm thinking about it, I think I'm just going to hire someone to come do it. Because I'm afraid I'm going to get like halfway through it, then it's going to be a complete shit show that I won't be able to do by myself. And it's like one thing after another. Like when it rains, it fucking pours.
Call the flooring guy. Get them to give you an estimate. And then from there, sorry you got to do it, but use them as a measuring stick. That's what everybody does to me. Call you in, they get a price, and then they use that price to freaking haggle with other people.
So I say I'll call you guys and give me the $5 discount.
Just call a
shit.
local flooring guy, your most local guy, because they'll probably give you the best price. And you just tell them.
I gotta do my
you
roof
work for.
first though. Like that gotta get changed too. Like the roof here is starting to go bad.
I had some freaking water coming out of the dishwasher, right out of the bottom. So I'm looking at this freaking thing every time. Bottle of water after the dishwasher's done. Then I noticed it was happening even if I ran the sink, which is right next to it. I said, what the freak is going on here? So I took everything out of the bottom cabinet of the sink. Sure enough, there was a leak in the pipe. It wasn't tightened enough.
Yeah.
PVC. So I was like, I dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah, at least that you can just tighten up and glue back.
Tighten that up and freaking, that's it. Nah, I just got to keep an eye on it though. It's an old apartment though.
You know, I think that's the problem I'm having too. When I first moved in, there was a small leak like that I had to fix, but there's no telling how long that leak was going on for. I bet that's why, because like just 5 feet from that area, that's where the subflooring got squishy and shit, and because it got squishy, it caused the linoleum to rip, and it's just it's so damn unsightly. Oh man. Well, it happened again last night, Neil.
Well, that should be why you went to 24/7.
Yep, I was told some wacky shit.
Well, listen, we went over Indio's performance. What's his name? Miggy, that thieving bastard that he is, got me for $1,000. Went over
What?
his performance. Yeah, I got no love for that guy, Miggy. He's a snake.
Called you for $1,000.
Yeah, then you got chocolate
That's
and he
none of my
lied too.
business. I don't want to. Sorry to hear that, man.
Just don't deal with him when it comes to freaking. It was that Bitcoin thing. He was pushing this freaking, not Bitcoin, but that whole coin shit.
I think I remember vaguely of you having like not
He was
Bitcoin,
pushing
but
that.
what's
He was pushing that FEG, feed every gorilla, and had everybody bought in. Look, you're in your 50s and you got to work so hard. What I'm trying to do is establish things so we can be self-sufficient here in the flat earthers. And all right, so I did at the time I was working. I had an extra $1,000 that if I lost it, fine. But the problem is, he never even let me know when they were selling. They were supposed to make this group where everybody was going to meet, right? Every time I went there, nobody was there. And then I just ignored it, just went back to work. And then I found out that the thing is worth nothing. So I asked Chalk about it, and he goes, what the fuck? That's gone. He goes, that's what everybody sold. I was like, well, why didn't anybody get in touch with me? Same way he's got in touch with me if I wanted to buy it. Why didn't you get in touch with me when you was selling it? So, yeah, he's a piece of crap.
crypto? I'm sorry to hear that. Because I remember vaguely you having some trouble about that like a year or 2 years ago or something. I didn't realize they were involved, and that sucks. Again, sorry to hear that.
This was right around the COVID time because I was new. I just might have been a year into the lockdown or something because I just got on. I just figured out how to get on. Because I had all that time. I was home and I figured out how to get on, use Discord. So my own fault.
Everybody did
But
that.
the only thing I'm
To
pissed
Discord.
about is they didn't let me know when they were selling. That's all. Just let me know so I could get on and get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened
Bip-
yesterday when you went there?
no,
Who was over there
no.
yesterday?
Oh, I didn't talk to I didn't talk to anybody that was in the video. It was just mostly AI. That guy, man, he completely spazzed. Oh well, what can you do?
You don't like, you know who annoyed me yesterday? Neil with the L. Neil with the one in the L, the capital L.
Yeah.
Because when we left that show yesterday, he was like, no, well, I look at it this way. You just cut him right off at the knees, which is good. But in 24/7, I learned so much stuff. I was like, goodbye. You shattered my image of you, and I left. I didn't even go on with the conversation with them. The show was over. This guy, because I always see him in there. I mean, when I go in there, to be honest, I'm very frustrated at how they deal with people. He was claiming, well, they take him around this big loop-de-loop. And during that time, he learned so much because at the end, they hammered him. 3 hours later? That's why I used to say to Witsit, when you get on these shows, lay it down how it is measured flat, right from Jump Street. So at least you get it in. I get frustrated when I go there.
Mm-hmm. Like I was in 24/7 because I'm banned from the from the English hub. So I popped into 24/7, and there was one guy in there. His name was Lats, and he was very cool, very friendly. He goes, "Yeah, man, let me get a mod, and I'll message them." But I'm driving home from work. I have to really use the bathroom, so I'm going to message them, and I'll hop off here. So he hopped off there, and I went and just did something else for about 20 minutes till I till till the kill time to see if a message was going to pop up if I got in or not. But I forgot that I left myself in that Discord room by myself since I was the only one in there for 24/7. And all of a sudden, Heretic popped in, and it was cool for like 10 minutes. But then I noticed the room started getting full, and AI popped in and just started losing his mind. He's like, you're going around saying that we're claiming there's 2 effing pole stars. That's bullshit. I'm like, how many pole stars are there? Well, there's more than one. I'm like, okay, so you're proving my point, AI. And he's like, there could be infinite pole stars. Anytime you
What?
take an angle, if you just switch around the coordinate system, that can be the pole star. I'm like, oh my god. Thing is, I could, if they're okay, let's just, whatever, fine. I'll like just grant it to them. Okay, there are 2 pole stars. It doesn't make a difference. That's not who cares? I don't care what your personal opinions are about the stars and in Australia. If you think there's another pole star, it really doesn't bother me. But don't say that you're not saying that, then turn around and immediately say it. It's like the gas. It's like I've never seen so much gaslighting in my entire life. It's so frustrating. Oh well.
AI does not like you because you come here.
Yeah, that's
He never liked the way things were done over here. He always voiced that because he feels like we don't give anybody anything. We just cut him right off. When that's not true.
Yeah, because I forgot when Mike Tyson fights people, he tries to let the fight last as long as possible before he knocks him out. No, you knock him out in the first round if you can. And if you're capable of knocking him out immediately, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to fucking let it drag on for 12 rounds.
Right, and we can. We have the knockout.
Decision.
We have the knockout blow.
Yeah.
I thought that was a bunch of nonsense. Oh, you got to know their. Even Nathan says it. You got to know their argument better than they know their argument. No, I don't. Once I demonstrated Earth is measured flat, you can't come back at me with anything.
No, that's we'll see for elevation angles. Yeah, like once you know the argument, there's really no recovering from it. But for Coriolis and stuff, you do have to know that inside and out, backwards and forwards.
Why?
But,
I do know, but why? Once
so
you
you don't
demonstrate
get
Earth is flat, where's the Coriolis? Where's that guy's doing anything? That's on a water ball that you just destroyed by showing without a doubt that Earth is measured flat. What's Coriolis got to do with anything? Go speak to a
Well, no,
lawyer about
I'm
that.
just saying if the argument is strictly Coriolis for that given time or opponent or wherever you're speaking with, and you're just talking about Coriolis or something, you do have to know it in and out.
Okay, if you're speaking to somebody about Coriolis, what are you talking about? Earth is measured flat.
True. That's
What's
fair.
Coriolis? We have
No,
measurements.
I see exactly what you're saying. Like, if you don't have to, like, if just because they bring up something like some other different argument, you can just take it right to Earth being measured flat, and there's really no recovering. I get that. That's fair.
Nowhere to go because not a ball no more. All of that stuff
Exactly.
pertains to Earth being a freaking spinning water ball in space. You just destroyed
Yeah.
it by demonstrating that it's measured flat. Well, how big is it? That's what you should be getting. Oh, what's the size of it?
Hey. Yeah, that's stupid.
Whitsid used to say, "Oh no, I think the most important thing we got to prove is that Earth is not moving." Once you do that, and that's when he gets into all of that freaking Mickelson Morley, you proven that the only Earth's not moving. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was moving. I don't, I'm not moving. So I got to prove something that is not happening.
Right. I'm gonna sound like a conspiratard, but they tampered with the live stream last night and removed all my audio. Like the whole thing we were talking about last night, it's just silence now. It's just dead air on their recording for like 2 hours. So that's got me looking at a little side-eyed a little bit. Like, how'd you manage to do that?
AI. If you got AI claiming that there's freaking two pole stars, you better believe it's not there anymore.
Oh yeah, no, AI claimed it, Heretic claimed it, some
And what
guy
was their
named Majin was
validation?
claiming it, Kiwi was claiming it. Like they were
What was
all,
it?
but the thing is, like they came in guns blazing, screaming at me for making that accusation that that's what they're saying, and then they turn around immediately and say it. That's what I'm like. I don't care if you think there's 17 pole stars. It makes no difference on how Earth's measured and navigated and pitch data and all that shit. But how are you going to charge me with being a liar, then immediately do the thing that I've already? So I accuse you of claiming multiple pulsars. You immediately say there's multiple pulsars, but then you're still calling me a liar. I don't I just don't understand that. It's like they have dementia.
What's their validation for the 17 pole stars or whatever they think?
Infinite pulsars. He said, what did he say? See, I'd go back and find the audio, but it's all muted. Like there's talking, then when I pop in, everything goes quiet, and then no one's little icons show up for like over an hour of the recording. And then the audio comes back in when AI's chastise me while I'm muted, and I never speak again because I stay muted the entire time, so I just left. What? Screenshots. I got those at least, but who cares? I wanted the audio bit of them saying it. Oh well.
Just prove to me logically that you have hands. When you do that, then maybe we could debate the nature of our reality where we live.
Do you know for sure and without a shadow of a doubt that you have hands? No, I
Okay.
don't.
Yeah, I have hands. No, you got to prove it to me logically. Put it into a syllogism. Huh? And that guy was holding him to it. That was funny. He wouldn't let him go. Kept bringing him back to it.
Yeah. Well,
This is
it
what
never should have
happens
gotten
when
to
you
that
get into
point
stupid
anyway.
conversations.
Yep. So they butcher the scientific method just to talk for an hour about not having hands.
Yeah, basically. That's why Flatzy was like, no, I've heard Indio. He knows the scientific method. We had to rewind and show that he doesn't know. And the fact of the matter is, when somebody comes in and they butcher it, at least do what Nathan does, set it straight. So at the end, whoever's listening knows what science is and what it isn't. He didn't even do that.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I was telling Neil, the other Neil, last night after the show ended. After everybody left for about 45 minutes to an hour, it was just me, Neil, Brian's Logic, and Divergent. Oh, Divergent Droid, man, he's another one. He started talking about two pole stars last night. And I'm like, you motherfucker, like, dude, I don't know, because I've never had nothing but good interactions with him. But then he started doing the same thing to me last night. I'm like, really? You too, dude? I was a little disappointed. But yeah, when it was me and Neil and Brian's Logic last night after QE's show, that's what I was, because Neil was talking about how stupid he is and he can't, he's a newbie and this and that, which isn't true because he's been on Discord just as long as I have. But he says that he doesn't know the arguments well because he's dumb. That's what and I don't think that's true at all. He doesn't seem like a dumb person when I talk to him. But it's just there's certain things that like you just have to get hammered in. And and like what I was telling Brian and Neil last night, the biggest, most important thing I can walk away from, if I was to just leave Discord, never talk about flat Earth ever again, whatever. At least now I instantly know when something is or isn't science. Like that's the most important thing. Now that being said, I can't go off the top of my head and give a valid scientific experiment and all that with independent and dependent variables and the naturally observed. Like I can't go out and do science, but I instantly know when something is or when something isn't immediately.
I bet you can.
And that's just as good for me. See, I tried it with the Viking. Like I was going over, I'm like, I just want to randomly come up with a valid, but I'm not a scientist. Like it's hard. It's harder to come up with something that's actually valid science than it is to like pointing out when something isn't science is like kindergarten. It's so easy, but it's important to be able to know that.
I think the most important thing is that the Earth is measured flat.
That too, yeah.
The
whole science thing's extremely
doesn't even
valuable.
fit. It doesn't even fit in this.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I take Buck Sodbuster round and round the merry-go-round with that. It keeps claiming that freaking measurements are science. It's a application of science. No, science is a method, right? What do you mean application of science? One is a measurement, and one is not a measurement. It has nothing to do with measurements. It has something to do with observing something in nature and trying to figure out what caused it. What the hell do measurements have to do with that?
Yeah, but everything in your day-to-day life involves making measurements of something. If I get a box of fucking cake mix and I start measuring out the flour in a measuring cup, look, I can claim it's science now because it's an application of science. No, it's not an application of science. You're measuring. So fucking what? I don't know. It's ridiculous. Man, it's so freaking muggy and humid out this morning.
You got to at least question, why were they so keen on running QE out of there? You know what I mean? Like, what's the purpose? So they have an agenda. It's the only way I could see it. It's like you got a football team, right? You got this quarterback that's lighting up everywhere that never loses. and you say, we don't want you no more. We want this other guy. He throws different passes. We don't score as much. We don't win. But, yeah, we're going to go with him.
Are you in Alabama right now, Neil? 'Cause I know a lot of time. Like sometimes I'm never sure if you're in New York or Alabama. Seems like you travel a lot back and forth.
No more. I've been in Bama for a while now.
Oh, okay.
I thought I was going to be going to New York, but it didn't pan out. I'm
Yeah.
not going there unless I know for a fact that I got work 5-6 days a week for a certain amount of time, because it's not worth it to just go there and then 1 week I only got 2 days. So when I'm here, when I'm in New York, I only get 2 days. My wife and my son work in the same place, so they got to take Ubers back and forth. It's a waste. But if I'm
Yeah.
working 6 days, then it's worth it.
Sure. Such a grueling drive too, though.
My brother's not doing that no more. As a matter of fact, my brother just came in and because he's got to take his wife and mother-in-law to Florida. So he flew back in. And now when he goes back to New York, he flies back to New York. He's not going to do the drive no more. It's that freaking, I can't get that accent out of my head, man. Freaking so pissed off that happened. I love that car. Freaking shit. Big mistake.
Oh, that accident you had about a year ago?
Yeah, November. It's almost coming on an year anniversary where I almost bought it. It's freaking crazy, man.
Yeah, that's scary.
I don't know what I was thinking.
What'd you do? Like, did you accidentally fall asleep or something?
Nah, I zoned out, but I mean, my eyes were open. Just got into one of them zones where it's like everything was like, wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, it's called highway hypnosis.
So I was gonna get off at exit 101, but I couldn't freaking track the trailer. See on it on that highway. I think it's 78. No, it's not 78. 81. 81 south. It's like two lanes. That's it, and it's so freaking dark. Like I could, and there's a lot of tractor trailers on it. I couldn't get over. So I was like, all right, I'll get off the next one. The next thing I know, I'm freaking flying through the air like an explosion in the back seat. I got knocked into the back seat. Still don't know how the freaking seatbelt came off.
You were by yourself?
Yeah. My wife was calling me like every, I think she was ringing me every hour and a half. And I'd stay on the phone with her for a little while. So I had the 10th man going through one of his latest ones. He was talking to the AI. So I was listening to that. I think Nathan was running that show at the time. Or I was like, it was late at night, so I was probably behind on it. So it was still going. Man, I wanted to get off that exit. And all right, just get off the next one. Next one never came. Freaking crap.
Yeah, it's scary, man. I mean,
Think about
feeling okay after? I know you were banged up there for a minute, weren't you?
Yeah, I couldn't freaking walk. As a matter of fact, when they released me from the hospital, I was like, where the freak am I going to go? I was like, I couldn't walk. Like, basically had to crawl. They were like, well, you can stay in the waiting room. I think my wife called me an Uber. I don't remember how I got out to the Uber. But I went to the hotel because my brother was leaving Sunday to go back to Alabama. Which that even pissed me off all the more because I was like, why the freak didn't you let me know? we could at least caravan, you know. And so he picked me up from the hotel and drove the rest of the way. But yeah, I couldn't walk normally for a good couple of months. So the first few weeks I was just crawling everywhere. My back hurt so bad. And they didn't see anything on the x-rays. Like, everything's fine. I'm like, everything's fine. Anyway, I don't even want to think
Yeah,
about
you
it.
just old.
It's my stomach sick.
Yeah. Ugh. Man, I've always been curious. Your brother doesn't have like a pink goatee and rides motorcycle, does he?
A what?
Okay, so the town I used to live in, I used to live in a town called Tallahassee. It's a little smaller. It's kind of closer to Auburn and stuff than where I'm at now. But there was a guy that used to go into the cigarette store that I would go to all the time, and he had the exact same accent as you. And then you said that, and then I found out that you lived semi in the area. I'm like, so I always wondered if that dude that you see all the time was like related to you. But it's probably some other random New Yorker.
Yeah, there's a few of us out here, I noticed.
Yeah, dude, I had such culture shock when I first moved here in 2010. I was like the thing that used to freak me out the most was people talking to me at the gas station. Like it was so weird because in Massachusetts you don't talk to people you don't know ever. And then here in Alabama, it's like people just walk up to you and have a 15-minute conversation with you. It was so strange.
Yeah, they see you don't have much of an accent, but I got a heavy, like freaking Brooklyn accent. So like I'm talking to people and they do not understand the word I'm saying, and they talk to me and I don't understand the word they're saying.
I dropped my R's a lot when I first lived here, but that's kind of gone away after just not being around the accent anymore. So, but like before, I would never pronounce R's and everything would be like wicked and shit. No, it's not like that now.
So you had that Boston accent, the packed cat.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Oh boy, thank God that ain't happening no more. At least you got rid of that.
Yeah, and you know what's now like whenever I hear it, I get incredibly embarrassed because I think it's the ugliest, dumbest sounding accent on the face of God's flat earth. Like there's nothing more gross than a Massachusetts accent, except for maybe like
That bu-
Australian, but that doesn't. I don't know.
yeah, but back to those the 24/7 guys. Earth Awakenings is just as bad. They're just as bad over there. I remember a guy coming in saying that Al Baruni did
Yeah,
science,
but they're not as
anti-science did
arrogant.
science.
They're not as arrogant though. Like they're
Yeah,
just
but
as wacky and weird as 24/7, but they're like, well, we don't really know anything. Like Earth could be about like at least. Whereas 24/7, they just spout nonsense and no, and then in their minds, 100% think they're correct and that they're doing it the right way. That's why they're worse. Like Earth Awakenings is retarded, but at least they're aware that they're retarded.
when you try to sound like an intellectual or be an intellectual and have appear that you have a knowledge of certain things, but you can't say the word something, you say something. I don't know. It's a turn off to me.
Like, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, no, that's me. I'll say X all day long. But let me tell you something. Something. Uh, Indio's a big something guy. And that was my frustration with him. Why he allowed that guy, the most retarded non-scientist claiming scientist guy, that even my son who's a glober said this guy's a freaking idiot. I know who this guy is. He's a moron. And you let him take you around the freaking block 10 times. And if you think that you did good on that, that's even more freaking alarming.
Yeah. I mean, Indio got drug around and then spanked by a guy that doesn't even know if he has hands.
Yeah, basically. But one thing he said that, because I was going in and out yesterday on QE show, but I thought I heard the guy say, "I know Earth is a globe as well as I know that I have hands." Is that what he said? I got to go back and listen. Or he could prove
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Earth
He
is a
said,
globe just as much as he can prove I got hands.
yeah, he said something to the effect of, yeah, yeah, you're right. My certainty of having hands is at the same level as Earth being a globe. Something to that effect.
But that, but then he went on to
Okay,
demonstrate that he
okay,
didn't know
Paul.
if he had hands. So, like, was that a confession that you are admitting that you don't know what you have? You're on a ball. Very weird.
I can't get over the whole step one, the scientific method, decapitate a chicken. Step two, like let it run around and wherever it lands, that's when you got to start doing a dance. And India's like, oh, I agree.
No, but before he said that, he goes, "Congratulations. I agree with everything." Wow.
Yeah, what can you do?
Can always talk about neutrinos.
That's like the word of the month. Neutrinos. And like me personally, I'm an idiot. So like, there's plenty of stuff I hear that I've never like. I'm like, what the hell's a neutrino? Then I looked it up, and it's like I don't remember something like it's like the smallest amount that you can measure of a part. It's like a chunk of a particle or some random shit. Like, oh, I'm not even gonna bother getting into that.
Yeah, very hard to detect, but according to him, easy to freaking track.
Well, how does that make sense? You can't detect them very easily, but we can track them. Okay. Well, if you can track something, that means it's detected, you jerk.
Who else is in Discord?
There was a whole bunch of people. Like there ended up being about 20 people, which was weird because I've never like gotten a room to like fill up before just by me talking. So I'm like, oh, I was just gonna hang out here until I got to the other server, which I still don't know if I like got unbanned from there or not. I gotta go check. But it was just the only one of note was AI. Uh, someone named Sheepdog, who I've seen around, was in there.
No, I
There's
mean,
a
who's
couple
in this
Globers.
Discord right now? Who's in our server?
Oh, I don't know. In hours, nobody. Just whoever's
Nobody's in
on
here yet.
with you and huh?
So you said that there's a UK hub, right? What's the difference? Like when you,
Yeah.
because I only see one way to get in there, in politics, and it says 24/7 politics, and I click on. Where is the freaking American hub one?
Oh, I don't know. The English hub. I don't know what the English hub set up like politics, where it's like it's a Discord server, but there's like 500 different rooms, and they're all kind of slammed. Like you got
Okay,
to ask a vegan or Muslim
right.
versus Christianity, stuff like that.
So what's the other
Ask
one?
about
Where is that?
Hinduism. Well, the flat Earth English hub, like the flat Earth's its own subsection in that server called the English hub. And then you got politics and religion, and FE 24/7. And I noticed it kind of just like like the whole group will like migrate in between servers. So like you'll go into politics, and the flat Earth server will be completely empty because everybody else is in a different one. Hold on a second.
Right, but it's all the same server. Like, is it all
No,
on the
they're different
same?
servers, but same
Yeah,
group of people that go from one server to another.
yeah. See, I only have one of them. I need to get the other one. I only get to the one
I'm
where
sure
DJ's own.
you and I should
Hold
be
on.
able to.
Yeah, I never get to the one AI's in. I always get to the one where DJ and the other meatball are there. That's got to be the English hub. And another thing, do you really think this guy debated 10,000 people or had 10,000 debates?
What, ponytail guy?
No, that's what Indio said. He's debated over 10,000. He's had over 10,000 debates.
Well, I mean, if you're on Discord pretty much every single day for over a decade, then yeah, I can see that being possible.
Huh? I don't know.
But if you do something over 10,000 times and you still suck at it, then maybe it's not for you. you know?
Well, maybe you didn't debate 10,000 people. That's why you're still struggling. But to me, it's like a concerted effort not to say the things that are said over here. Now, it could be that I'm biased, but then again, it never used to be that way, right? When Black Swan came out, they were all over it, right? Gas pressure out of container, everybody's all over it. So what changed? When the silver bullet was put in the gun, it's like everything changed. And they go out of their way not to use it because they don't want to sound like FED. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either because shit, at this time a year ago, I thought everybody was buddy buddy. It wasn't until after the final experiment nonsense with Jaren and Nicktoon and all them that everything seemed like it changed.
To this one, I have a degree of science, not a degree in science. I have a degree of science. You study science topics, perform experiments, test it on your knowledge. You guys need to contact my university and let them know that what they call science is not science. How do you fail for what the guy is saying? Holy crap. You are literally brainwashed by Nathan and QE.
Who said that?
This is the Buck Sodbuster guy. So I finally told him, Buck, you sound insane. I'm going to have to freaking block you because you're going to other servers claiming you challenged us and we're supposed to be there to debate you, which never was the case, and then claiming victory. We have an open door. If you want to talk to us, you can come in. But going around saying we're scared, we don't want to come, we don't want, there is no debate. So I'm going to have to block you. You sound insane. You are asking me to ask Nathan questions. You are posting crap to me. You are going to different servers and claiming we are not showing up. I said, Buck, have a nice life. So then I guess he got nervous and he said, all right, have a good one, Neil. And the dinner offer still stands. Cracker Barrel is my favorite. Then later it was like, okay, let's talk something more important, pizza. This guy's out of his mind. So I finally put a block. I figured out how to block him. Because Brian told me he had to block the guy because he just would never stop. He's relentless. But the thing that troubles me is, what do you care? Like, we're not running around trying to draw Jaron back in or that guy, Patricia Steer, you know? We're not trying to bring them back. What do they care? Because there's nothing to do with it. Oh, he claims that he studied his whole life doing science, and when people are not doing science, that bothers him, and he's going to bring us down. So they've learned pseudoscience, and they're applying it as science. And they're
Hey,
so
I bet
concerned.
back in the 1950s, Patricia Steer was hot. No, I don't know how old she is. She's definitely older than me. She looks like she's old enough to be like a mom. But she's a fruit.
But now, if you look back, Nathan's right. They were all put in those positions for a reason. Flat Earth and other hot potatoes. Lump them in with the conspirators. And then once the measurements come out, they all run the other way. The Robbie Davidson guy, another shill, was surrounded by them, or we were.
I have no idea who he is.
You probably know him if you've seen him.
Celebrate Truth.
Yeah, Celebrate Truth, exactly. That's the channel.
He does like a lot of short, like 5-minute videos with music playing, and it's just like stuff you gotta read, stuff like little slideshows. Maybe I don't know.
Well, back in the day, he used to be the one where I first heard them saying they claim they're doing science and it's not, it's pseudoscience. That's where I first was brought to my attention. This is like 2015, 2016. He called it Scientism. He's another one, had big events, hired security, and never paid them.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah,
I
it
got a
was
lot of
weird because,
disdain for a bunch of flat earthers that I first like. Some of the first flat earthers I came across before I came to FED, which I'm glad I never mentioned it, but Brian was talking about Mitchell from Australia yesterday, and I'm like, whoa, 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 that's a name that I haven't heard in a minute. And then I remember Mitchell from Australia is the only reason why I even found FED because he mentioned it. I'm like, what the hell's FED? So then
cool.
that's how I came across it. And then when Brian mentioned, I'm like, yeah, that kid was the balls. I love Mitchell from Australia.
Yeah, he's lined up with us.
Very well spoken. When I saw him do debates, like he didn't get upset. He was just even keeled and like, oh, but he would crush too. But then, living in Australia, people started calling the authorities on him, and he was getting his kids threatened to be taken. I'm like, oh, that sucks, man. That's so evil and dirty to do that to somebody.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, look what they did to Nathan.
Mhm. Yeah, dude, it's scary. They'll just go to that, like, oh, we're going to destroy your family. Fucking evil.
Right. Because they want to know, why are you wasting your time on this? You could be doing so many different things. That's what I get.
Yeah, don't waste your time on FE. Just go get a job at the dirt factory. Okay.
Doesn't matter. Even when I am working, I got FED on. I had the headphones on. It would bother the hell out of people I worked with. The one guy I used to put it on the speaker. This is before I ever joined. I used to just be a guy waiting for the show to start so I could watch it on YouTube. And I had the Uncut and After show, I had the alarm set for that. They would be like, oh, yeah, we got to hear those English guys again. Used to drive people crazy, especially when I was working in the theaters and I had my freaking Bose speaker blasting FED. Dun, 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 dun. Oh no, it's the English guys again. It's going to be a problem going on mute, Nathan. I have no hands.
Are you referring to QE's live stream yesterday where he was covering achromatic rainbow guy with the ponytail?
Yeah, I got no hands. Oh, I could use my nose. I'll go on mute.
Yeah, there's lots of excuses that people who are opposed to us need to make so that they can keep apologetic lines open when they're making excuses for, say, using a flat earth in their measurements and things of that sort of nature. So they need to keep a door open to get out of any awkward situation that they might find themselves in. So in that particular instance, eventually that path of saying I'm not an absolutist, well, I don't know if I've absolutely got a set of hands or not, but you can revert back to, well, you don't know if you're a brain in a jar or not. You can take it to those extremes should it be required. Now, obviously, we will absolutely stand by how Earth gets measured because it's the same measurement for everybody on both sides. It doesn't matter if you're a ball believer or a flat earther. Earth is measured flat for every single instance that Earth can be measured, and there aren't any exceptions, as we're finding out, via people like Simon Dan and Fugly Dave McKeegan, where they measure Earth flat and then apologise for how flat they've had to measure it. Or the other hard place that people find themselves in is denying their own measurements or claiming that they're inaccurate. Like, well, they're not my measurements. Meanwhile, we do definitely measure Earth flat in all instances, so Earth is flat.
Exactly, and that's well said, because that's where you should always start. If you're debating, even though it's not a debating topic, we know it's measured flat, but at least if you start it out, you get it out, people hear it. So if they take you around the corner, at least you got that it's measured flat. Don't wait 3 hours. And then a lot of people don't even bring it up at all, which is freaking crazy to me.
Maybe
Well, it was
people are
never mentioned yesterday, wasn't it?
Maybe people are scared of actually going through the discussion and explaining to people how Earth's measured flat if they don't know. So if we describe how a survey utilises trigonometric calculations based on flat Earth horizontal distance measurements, that's an explanation for how Earth gets measured flat. Or I like Brian's current one where he's describing takeoff and landing in an aeroplane. Obviously, we've already established that, you can only fly level to the ground, parallel with it. That's level flight, measured off sea level. So axiomatically, Earth can only be described and is only described and measured as flat when you describe level flight, parallel with the ground. That speaks for itself. I was speaking with Craig, the technician that does a lot of the work for me when I've got broken microphones and fixing computers and things like that. Does it all for free. He's very generous. That's how he supports this channel. Shout out to you, Craig. But Craig and I were discussing this today when I picked up a cable that he'd made for free. And he was explaining how these flat Earth only descriptions have kind of passed us by up until now. That is to say, it's how didn't we see this when we're talking about taking off from a level plane, cruising parallel with the ground, and then taking the flight back to the ground on a glide slope that's measured with horizontal distances. These are flat Earth only descriptions of flight, but yet we didn't realise and all believed we were on a ball for a significant period of time. It's very interesting to think now, for us at least, because we do understand how Earth is measured flat, how we didn't notice up until now.
Yeah, that's been my thing too. How did we miss it? Like, it was so many things that it was right there in front of us, but for some reason, refracted tells it like it is, because we were looking for curvature. That's how they set it up. So everybody's running around looking for curvature when the Earth is flat.
Yeah, it's a subtle difference if you, as we do, describe Earth being measured flat versus the standard fare rhetoric given to claim to be flat earthers when we arrived 10 years ago. Our preordained rhetoric was to describe how Earth is not a ball and then enter into debate about whether or not we've got curvature. Well, the descriptions of curvature, be it from the Earth curve mathematics or apologetics for how little you won't be measuring, all span from the same horizontal distance measurements and elevations. They're tied to axioms that can only geometrically describe a flat Earth if you're perpendicular to it for height, elevation, pressure. All of these things require a flat plane, and there's no axiomatic ball to describe in any of them. They're all in requirement of a flat Earth in the first instance. So when you know that, you go, again, how did we not notice when every single measurement without exception requires a flat Earth? Now, the hilarious part is that our opponents currently, albeit with us under the most severe of suppression you can possibly get, are still going out and measuring Earth flat. You know, we're giving examples with people like Simon Dan and Fugly Dave McKeegan when they're out measuring elevation angles off a flat plane thousands of times. They can't get away from the surveyed flat, flown across and sailed upon flat Earth that we all deal with on a daily basis. That is how Earth is dealt with. So regardless of whether or not we noticed, we were in a paradigm where we were fighting against a ball rather than just pointing out how Earth is actually dealt with. If you can argue how it's not a ball, your opponent can argue how it is a ball. And then there's just balls being discussed, isn't there? Whereas if you start with Earth is measured flat, and if somebody suggests that they're on a ball and then takes you to mathematics that requires eye level and surface level axiomatically be adhered to describe curve below the surface level that gets measured for altitude, you can point out that even though they believe their mathematics alludes to a ball, you need to measure Earth flat in order to achieve that paradigm. So Earth is measured flat for everyone. There aren't any exceptions. And I'm not going to be talking about how Earth's not a ball. If you want to believe you are on a ball, you are welcome to. But in order to believe you are on a ball, you must measure Earth flat. And there aren't any exceptions. Like I say, it must be very painful for people like Simon Dan to have me pointing out, you've measured Earth flat thousands of times with your participating audience when you measure elevation angles to the sun. What's elevation? Height off the surface? What's an angle? Two straight lines meeting at a vertex. So you've got a surface level for one part of the angle and an imaginary line to the sun for the other, measured through a protractor. Now that gives you a flat baseline in order to allege that these angles off a flat plane from surface level for altitude angles are creating a sphere? They're not. In fact, quite the reverse. It defies sphericity if you're measuring the surface flat. You can't then go on to describe, as Al-Biruni did, a ground that curves away from you if you've just utilised trig and horizontal distance measurements to acquire heights of mountains. You can only measure Earth flat and imply that the axiomatic flat ground you've measured bends after you've measured it flat. And that's what they do. They go out and measure elevation angles to the sun for 24 hours. Unless you're too stupid to operate a tripod like Dave McKeegan. Then you'll be outsmarted by it and unsuccessfully measure Earth flat for 24 hours. Fortunately, Dave being a total spastic, he had other people there to help him out that did know how to operate a tripod and measure Earth flat for the full 24 hours. So we've got full-on 24 hours of flat Earth measurements from these numpties, but they still want to call me in this alleged to be echo chamber, tell me that there are no guns in Antarctica. Who cares? We measure Earth flat. You measure Earth flat. We're all in the same boat, whether you like it or not.
Hello, everybody. It's one decade. Yeah, just a couple of things there. Yeah, we did miss a lot, including the Greeks, Eratosthenes. And I listened to the Ballbusters last week. I think QE went around the table asking, what would your, proof of flat Earth be? What would you use? And I use Eratosthenes. And it's ironic because that is their supposed proof of a globe. But when they ask me for proof of a flat Earth, I'll say, well, Eratosthenes measured Earth flat, and go through that with them, which is ironic, but it's probably same as Al-Biruni, a really good flat Earth proof to start with. And I do it all the time now, and I have lots of fun with it.
Yeah, because they're in a hard place rock situation where they can either deny their own measurements from their own rhetoric from Al-Biruni as being inaccurate because he didn't account for a fraction. Like, if he accounts for a fraction, he can't do trig. So there's no ambiguity in terms of Al-Biruni's measurements. He's using horizontal distance measurements so he can use trig. Without horizontal distance, no trig, no height. They say, well, he should have accounted for a fraction. You can't account for a fraction if you're doing trig. So because he's doing trig, he can only measure Earth flat. Response from ball believers. Well, it's only a little bit of curve that he's not measuring. You're like, so he's not measuring curve? Yeah, we know. He's measuring it flat. You can either accept that fact or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's your story that you need Earth to be measured flat in.
What's refraction?
Nothing to do with trig. Nothing to do with parallel surface level and eye level. Like I say, the measurements are what they are. Whether they want them to be inaccurate, that's the hard place where they start denying their own rhetoric and measurements because of alleged refraction that hasn't been taken into account. Like, okay, so you're saying your crappy Al-Biruni measurements are wrong. Okay, no worries. He still did trig, though, didn't he, on a flat Earth? That's how he measured it. Feel free to deny the trig, but that is how he measured Earth flat with horizontal distance. All right, well, he didn't account for a fraction. Well, go and talk to Al-Biruni. The story is as it is. Earth was measured flat for trig. Don't have to like it. You can deny it. It doesn't bother me. It's not my story. But like any measurement of Earth, it will always and can only be measured flat.
Yep. It's like the Eratosthenes. I've got a guy at the moment, a bit of a chat. He's admitted now, yeah, he did measure angles only across a distance, a 7.2 degree angle, two straight lines using the surface of Earth. But he's now, whether he's just holding on to this for dear life, or he's still convinced that the calculation and the presupposition of the circle, he keeps calling it, of 360 degrees, which then you divide into with maths, gives you a circumference. He's not realizing that that's just the presupposition thereafter that you've measured Earth flat using angle measurements and elevation angle measurements. So that's where I've got this guy at the moment. But he's, like I say, he's in between a rock and a flat place at the moment.
Exactly. You can either disavow your own measurements because what Al-Biruni didn't account for a fraction, Eratosthenes didn't account for a fraction, they didn't account for the curved surface. Okay, well, you can say that, but then they can't do the measurement that they've done. You can either toss out the measurement, which requires a flat plane to do it, to get an angle, and call it an angle, or you don't, in which case Earth's measured flat. But they don't like it. They want to tell us how inaccurate their own measurements are. Like, okay, well, you can say that he's no longer got an angle, but then the starting point of this description that's alleging to prove a sphere has no starting point anymore. If you're saying it's wrong, the ground was bent, he just didn't account for it, well, then if the ground is bent, he's not getting an angle anymore because it's an elevation angle, meaning it's directly tied to the surface. That's what we're describing when we describe elevation of anything. Regardless of how you measure it, it can only and will only ever measure a flat Earth until you start denying it. Again, we've defined this hard place they find themselves in when they don't like using their own flat Earth measurements and flat Earth trig and flat Earth horizontals. You don't have to like it. That's just how Earth gets measured, for you to believe in a ball after you measure it flat.
Yeah, once you say angle, you can only get an angle from a flat surface, and it's over right there.
Indeedy weedy. So, I've been shared a video from a couple of numpties, and the Guilty Dog Productions video is what we're going to be covering today. So I'm going to stick a link to their original video, and we'll go through it and critique it, and hopefully fun will be had by all. But if you are watching live, there is a let's just get rid of this. There is a link running by the live stream in the live stream chat where you can actually pop along to this videographer and just let them know with a polite comment at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Just allude to the fact that we have covered their video in some fashion and responded to potentially some of their critiques of flat earthers and flat earth. We'll see how they get on. Anybody heard of these guys? Guilty Dog Productions? Guilty Dogs?
Nope.
No, nobody's heard of them? Fair enough. Well, either way, let them know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Good.
Alrighty.
Alrighty, yes.
Eye-opening proof.
Oh, shit.
In the Bible, it's
Okay.
specific.
Nope, not proof. I love that. I have solid evidence in the Bible.
In the Bible, sorry.
God
what?
said,
No.
no, sorry, not proof. Wait, what is this on my shirt?
That's my mom.
No, this.
That's my mommy.
No, this part.
Yeah.
So what? Because you've got a ball on your shirt, what?
It's your mom?
Yeah.
Is your mom rotund or is she flat?
You know, you would be surprised that that's a divisive topic.
The earth, is it flat? Is it round?
Measured flat. That's how we've just covered it literally for the last 10 minutes. So just to answer your question, you can believe that the earth is a sphere. In order to believe that the earth is a sphere, you require flat earth measurements, including but not limited to elevation angles, horizontal distance measurements, elevation angles, horizontals, parallel, eye level, and surface level, sea level. All of these things are axiomatically tied to Earth measurements because that is how Earth gets measured, flat in all instances. So to answer your question, is it flat or round? Well, round and flat aren't mutually exclusive. You can have a round, flat penny, but nevertheless, we'll infer that you mean spherical, dumbass, and say it's not spherical because the inference comes from flat Earth measurements that would violate the measurements if it was spherical.
Don't answer that.
What? I just did.
Idiots would say...
Sorry, so we're into ad hominems and personal attacks. Okay, you've just opened the floodgates. Right, from this point forward, every time you say something stupid, I'm going to call you a retard and spastic. Because apparently we're idiots. No, I'm a flat earther. My name's Nathan Oakley. I deal with how Earth gets measured. For example, when you get on a plane, you fly parallel to the ground. It's called flight level. It's measured from sea level, and we have NTSB pitch data that shows that when people die from crashing into the flat ground they're flying over, it gets investigated with the black box measurements of parallel flight level with surface level. That is how Earth gets measured when investigating death. Now you, pair of spastics, seem to think you're on a ball because you've been told so. That makes you pathetic and ignorant. Meanwhile, the more intelligent amongst us will point out to you how Earth gets measured. Flat in all instances. But thank you for opening the floodgates. You will be described appropriately from this point forward.
It's round. Watch this.
Dumbass. I think I covered this already. Round and flat are not mutually exclusive, you complete spastics. Maybe look up what round means. Is round spherical, or do you two pair of dicks not know the words you're using? Round and flat aren't mutually exclusive, you pair of peckerwoods.
Let's watch this.
Okay.
What, that's you standing up with a t-shirt on, you complete spastic. In your mind, standing up with a t-shirt on is proof of a globe, in spite of the fact it's measured flat. Now that just makes you a retard if this is your standard of proof. A moment ago you laughed at somebody, having not played their full excerpt, because they said they got proof from the Bible, yet you seem to be alleging proof of a ball because you've got a t-shirt on. What kind of spastic are you? Did you not look at how Earth got measured before you started alleging that your t-shirt proved a ball, you complete retard?
Am I spinning?
Good.
Sorry, I think it's Nathan. If he would have looked how Earth was measured before he made this video, he would have found out that a Greek guy called Eratosthenes actually measured it flat using angles, using the surface of Earth. and then did some mathematics to turn them flat Earth elevation angle measurements into a mathematical globe. So if he would have done some research, he would have easily and quickly found out that the Earth is actually measured flat, and the Greeks all knew that.
I think not.
Checkmate liberals.
There's
Sorry, checkmate liberals. What's a liberal? I don't even know what he's talking about. What's he talking about?
It's a
Checkmate
political
liberals.
position.
Somebody
It's
fill me
not
in.
a
What's he
liberal
babbling
was
about?
somebody who was like a Democrat.
But what does that mean? Does it apply to me?
Well, yeah,
I've
he's
never voted.
stereotyping the fact that flat earthers are usually conservatives in their political affiliation.
As in the way they vote? I've never voted.
Exactly.
So,
Liberal.
stereotyping fallacy. Fallacious reasoning, that would be to call me a liberal. I'm not. That just makes you a moron using a stereotype fallacy. You know the problem with stereotype fallacies? They're fallacious. You end up with someone like me who's never voted saying I'm not a liberal. So checkmate liberals? No. Standing up with a T-shirt on that's got a globe on isn't a checkmate for anything. Meanwhile, measurements of Earth would dictate how you describe its shape. Not flat or round, because as I've pointed out 3 times, they're not mutually exclusive. You can have a flat, round penny, you complete dumbass.
a lot of people online that are stupid. Believe.
Yeah, we're talking to them. You're stupid. Flat and round aren't mutually exclusive, yet you think you've got a checkmate for liberals. Because you've, cut somebody off who said they got proof from the Bible? Yeah, wait till you get a load of me, dickheads.
Believe it or not. And they think the Earth is...
No, we don't think anything. We know Earth is measured flat because that's how it's measured. For example, when investigating death, the NTSB utilise horizontal plane measurements with sea level and flight level. That's how they investigate death. Do you understand, you pair of clowns? This isn't what I think, it's what I absolutely know, based on the investigations done when people die. So, you pair of muppets, do you think your T-shirt trumps NTSB investigations of crashes? No, you pair of clowns.
Is flat.
Okay.
I think I am a, what do they call it?
Yeah, this person looks stupid as well. This girl looks stupid. So you're picking out the lowest hanging fruit possible, I see. I would estimate that the reason this is what you're picking out is probably because this is what gets favoured by whatever algorithm you're tapped into. They will present the biggest spastics that there are who say they're flat earthers and then go to things like the Bible to present that as evidence. Yeah, they're going to give you the lowest possible hanging fruit. Unfortunately, in spite of the censorship, you will find out who I am. My name is Nathan Oakley. I'm going to be the one handing your dumb ass back to you whenever you say something stupid. Now, the algorithm's definitely not going to present my information to you. You won't find me by accident. You'll find this chewing gum, munching, mumbling buffoon. That's what you'll find your way to. Meanwhile, you'll have my audience telling you Nathan Oakley sent me to point out what a complete dumbass you pair are.
I think they call it a flat earther.
So she doesn't even know the title. I think they call it a flat earther. Yeah, she sounds really intelligent. Low-hanging fruit much, lads?
Sounds like she's from the UK, Nathan.
Doesn't make any difference to how stupid she sounds. She sounds stupid. I think I'm a flat earther. You don't even know the title and you're telling me you think you're it. Okay. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat.
And for some reason, my algorithm has just been serving me these morons for like a few days now. So
Pretty much exactly like I just said then. So, like I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, in light of the fact that we've got an alien invasion on the table and people like you need to be scared shitless by that garbage, you're going to be fed the lowest possible hanging fruit to debunk when it comes to flat Earth. Me, I'm heavily censored. Why? Because I rub clowns like you and your noses in the flat Earth measurements, and then I'll use the very serious business of dealing with life and death investigations when I example flat Earth measurements. That's what I'll do. But what do you get presented to you by the algorithm, this chewing and munching idiot? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Me, I've got the absolute finest of evidence when it comes to proving beyond all doubt that not only is Earth measured flat, it's measured flat for your ball belief. You require elevation angle measurements from surface level and horizontal distance measurements in order to create radial values. They'll be flat and round to convert to sphericity. That's what you require. You, pair of numpties, need a flat Earth in order for you to believe the shit you were fed by your school system and you swallowed whole without any primary source research or investigation into the measurements of Earth. You seem to think that whether or not this numpty says she believes she's a flat earther has some bearing on how Earth gets measured. It doesn't. But that's absolutely what you'll be fed algorithmically, so it's easy to debunk. Well, get a load of me, dickheads. Earth's measured flat.
Oh, a lot of people out there believe the Earth is flat.
Well, those people will be presented to you ad nausea because people like me who know it's flat will point it out with measurements. Hence the suppression, hence you'll never naturally find your way to me. But I've got an audience that I can tell to go and tell you that I'm covering you right now and point out how stupid you pair are when you use things that aren't mutually exclusive like flat and round. You pair of spastics. Get off the internet, you're just full of disinformation and misinformation. You're a pair of clowns. You haven't done any research. Why have you even got a channel, you pair of dickheads? How do they taste?
Nathan, is it their fault if they're getting fed, if the algorithm is feeding them this nonsense? How are you to blame them?
Because they didn't do any primary source research. They just swallowed whole what their government-based education told them. That makes them idiots, incompetent, and poor researchers. Now, if you're going to come on and laugh at people, then you better have done your research, because otherwise you'll get your ass tanning by me. You'll get called a spastic in front of an audience that will go and tell you you're being called a spastic. Were you aware you were thinking that it was funny, laughing at people? Now you're getting called a spastic, aren't you?
Despite it being, at least to most people, very obvious. It's not.
I'm actually...
Sorry, very obvious it's not. Based on what? That's what's called a baseless assertion fallacy. So, based on it being very obvious, and then you need to evidence it with a standard, like utilisation of the NTSB pitch data that shows planes fly nose up with respect to horizontal and measure their altitude parallel with sea level. Those are demonstrable facts that are used to investigate life and death crash investigations. So what have you got? It's just obvious that it's a ball. No, it's not obvious. You've been told it's a ball based on your free government education that you are spoon-fed and have just decided to accept without doing any primary source research. Not that you probably even know what primary source research is. You weren't taught what that is in your crappy free education. But yet you feel fit to mock others. Well, I'm going to mock you, pair of clowns. You're both demented. You're both retards. You didn't do any research. And now you're getting shouted at by a flat earther using demonstrable fact and flat earth measurement to prove you're wrong. Most people believe they're on a ball because most people like you two dickheads are idiots and they don't do any research.
It's still not convinced. This is your opportunity to convince me.
Oh, really? You think this is my opportunity to convince you? I don't give a shit whether you believe it's a ball or not. I see you both as spastics. You think I give a fuck whether or not you believe this? It doesn't require your belief. We're investigating life and death when we look at pitch data from black boxes, when we measure altitudes with surveys, we're measuring rise over run with horizontal distance measurement. Do you think it matters to me if you're convinced or not, you belligerent spastic? No, it matters not whether or not you two pair of clowns believe this or not. It does not require your belief. It's a measurement of Earth's surface. Sea level as a simple example. Parallel flight level, as I've already given. Life and death pitch data when investigating death. Those are the standards we non-spastics, who don't have a belief in a ball based on our free government education, lay down when we deal with numpties like you.
I am an undecided voter in 2025.
So you're also
Convince
stupid.
This isn't political. This isn't based on consensus or what you vote on. You don't have a say in how Earth gets surveyed. Survey says Earth is flat because they require horizontal distance measurements when surveying Earth at all scales. There are no exceptions. You think you get a vote on it, do you, Tash? No, you and your bumfluff don't get a vote on this, you stupid retard.
Me. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I am. Let's get into it. Let's look at some flat Earth hosts. Let's see if we can be convinced.
Sorry, again, I'll just play it one more time. We aren't interested in whether or not you are convinced when Earth is measured flat. It's not something that we concern ourselves when it comes to you being convicted of these thoughts and feelings you have based on other people and what they say. Even me, what I say is irrelevant. If I die tomorrow, it won't change how Earth is charted, mapped, sailed upon, flown across, surveyed. All of those things will always require Earth be measured flat, regardless of whether or not I say so. Those are how Earth gets measured. Now, if you weren't a complete spastic, you'd go out and look at the measurements. But what are you doing? You're presenting what the algorithm presented you, so you're not even smart enough to do your own search. You'll just go with what YouTube and TikTok presents you. Oh my God. So you're doing it based on reaction? You're thick.
Oh,
This is
she's
one
an
of my
actress,
favorite
Nathan.
flat Earth.
Say again.
She's an actress, so the algorithm spit an actress out to them.
Oh, I've seen this
Things
before.
ever. This
Yeah.
is, I think, from a documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
So an anti-flat Earth documentary that's behind the curve is now what you'll base it on. I see. So it's almost like you're going straight to the opposition for their rhetoric. Well, let's point out a few things in Behind the Curve and how wrong they are when it comes to Earth measurement.
And it's the greatest documentary out there.
Yeah.
Really? The greatest documentary on flat Earth is a documentary that includes a now ex-flat earther named Jaron Campanella? Really? See, I wouldn't call that the greatest documentary on Earth. I would use any crash investigation ever and say that documentary shows in the black box measurements of surface level just how flat Earth is. And there's no fucking around when we're dealing with people's death. Yeah? It's not Jaron Campanella, another shill spastic, who can't even use a compass. No. People who can't use a compass, their opinions in this matter are not valid. How Jaron, a spastic, measures Earth is irrelevant. Because we've got people who deal with life and death, and they've got black box measurements of surface level and pitch and altitude parallel with surface level measured from sea level for flight level. So do you think it matters what Jaron A. Spastic says in a documentary on Netflix? You think Netflix are the arbiter of how Earth gets measured, do you, numpties? You think it's the best documentary on the subject? No. I think you're just being a bit reactive to what you saw on Netflix. How sad, how stupid, how idiotic you seem when you don't go to the measurements of Earth, you go to a shill documentary on Netflix, making you both seem like spastics. 'Cause you are spastics. Make no mistake.
Behind the Curve.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yes.
It's truly...
Shake it, break it.
This is what gets me, Nathan. You just said it anyway, but they talk about anything except for geometry. We're talking about geometry, the Earth measurements. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and talk about that. That's what we're all talking about: the shape of the Earth, how's it measured, and what they're doing, playing a stupid documentary.
Yeah, Behind the Curve isn't dealing with flat Earth measurements. It's dealing with Jaron's measurements. Jaron doesn't deal with life and death scenarios like air crash investigations do. Jaron's a spastic. He doesn't know how to use a compass.
Bad opinions and their pseudoscience be disproved by themselves.
I got one thing right. Yeah, Jaron's a pseudoscientist because he continually alleges that what he's doing when he's poking holes in cardboard and shining lights through them, he calls those experiments. Yeah, Jaron doesn't know what science is, but I'll take this opportunity to educate you two dumbasses in science. Science is the elucidation of cause and effect based on natural phenomena. Step 1, observe natural phenomena. It's the dependent variable in step 2, formulate hypothesis. That would be your supposition of causal influencer for the naturally observed phenomena. Once you suppose a cause, you've got both independent and dependent variable, both halves of what is called an alternative hypothesis. Alongside that sits the null, the zero difference result. If A, not B, validated by step 3, experimentation, where you vary and manipulate that which you assume will cause the effect you observed at step 1. Upon variation and manipulation of a presumed cause, to see if it does or does not cause the effect, you either validate the null, that's the zero difference result, tick, proven, it didn't cause it, or validate the alternative, tick, yes, this caused the effect I observed at step 1. That is a scientific validity. It is empirical. It is known as the scientific method, otherwise known as natural science or physics. Physics being the study, shocking, of the physical and natural world. Now, what Jaron does when he pokes holes in cardboard is not physics. It's not science. It is spastic.
And then they later convinced themselves that it was
Sorry, who are they? Are you talking about Jaron?
like a bad test.
Right. And
No, Jaron went to Antarctica, measured Earth flat with elevation angles, and then decided because there's an azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric globe projection that true Earthers call the flat Earth map, that means Earth is not flat in spite of him measuring Earth flat. In fact, many of them who went to Antarctica, including this shill called Jaron, who alleges that science is poking holes in cardboard, measured Earth flat in Antarctica. All of them did. Oh, I say all of them did. One of them was outsmarted by a tripod. His name's Fugly Dave McKeegan, a very ugly, troll-looking mofo who couldn't cope with a tripod. Now, he did measure Earth flat in a limited capacity till he was outsmarted by a tripod with elevation angle measurements off surface level. Because even the guys who think Earth isn't flat and go to Antarctica to measure elevation angles off surface level seem to think that their flat Earth elevation angles prove a globe. Yeah, again, like you, they're bunch of idiots. Some of them not even capable of using a tripod. Some of them not capable of using a compass. The guy in this documentary specifically, his name's Jaron Campanella. He subsequently switched sides after using, and we counted them, 9 separate flat Earth prerequisites to suggest he's not on a ball. Complete idiot.
even better, you see the reality of their own sunk cost hitting them in the face.
No, what we see is the reality that shills are amongst us in this community so they can lead, like shepherds, the sheep away from flat earth measurements and scientific validity. That's what Jaron does. Jaron has literally, when discussing this subject with me, denied what science actually is, and then moved back onto the ball based on flat earth angle measurements to the sun for 24 hours, other than Fugly Dave McKeegan, who was outsmarted by a tripod.
How many years they've spent with this, falling away.
They've gone too deep. They can't.
Right, falling, like as in a downward vector, perpendicular to a plane of reference. Yeah, you'll need a flat earth for that.
Can't admit that they're just wrong. So they.
Sorry, I'm not going to be admitting when I'm wrong when your globe Earth measurements rely on measuring Earth flat, including but not limited to Eratosthenes and Al-Biruni, who both utilise elevation angle measurements, and in the case of Al-Biruni, horizontal distance measurements on Earth's surface in order to acquire elevations of mountains. That's height off surface level, perpendicular to a plane of reference, measured with horizontal distances. This isn't a belief. It's measurements of Earth you need for your dumbass ball belief.
They have to convince themselves that they're right.
No. There's no convincing me when it comes to how Earth is measured for everyone. Now, you can tell me that I'm wrong. That what, Al-Biruni didn't measure Earth flat to do trig to get the height of the mountain, but he did. Your dumbass ball faith relies on Earth being measured flat. Everyone's belief in a ball relies on Earth being measured flat because, shocking, Earth is measured flat by everyone, always and without exception. It's not a belief.
Right, so let's see them attempt to do that.
Through this hole through the next hole and seeing the light at the backboard or 17 feet off.
Okay.
It says water level here. Well, he's got that bit right. In order to describe these elevations, they'll be described in feet off surface level. That's correct. That's the only way you can measure height. It's an elevation measurement. And if you're going to describe it with respect to the surface level or sea level, then that is precisely what you need the parallel eye level, in this case camera level, to be to get 17 feet off anything. You're not measuring off curve level, you pair of dumbasses.
Okay, so straightforward experiment. They're far enough away.
Oh, really? Straightforward experiment? You mean the elucidation of cause and effect based on naturally occurring phenomena, otherwise known as physics? The study of the physical and natural world? Yeah, this isn't natural, is it? You think men propping up bits of card and utilising feet measurements off surface level, parallel, to describe altitudes of the bits of man-made card is an experiment? I know we've got a spastic in the house, haven't we? Somebody who feels fit to laugh at us. Well, I'm not laughing at you, I'm calling you a spastic, because you don't know what an experiment is. Same as Jaren doesn't know what an experiment is. Don't use these words, you pair of spastics. You don't know what it means. Now I'll reiterate what an experiment is. It's the elucidation of cause and effect based on a scientific prediction. A scientific prediction is an experimental validity that you can get called a hypothesis. And that experimental validity is only offered after you observe natural phenomena and presume a cause for it, to later be varied in what is called an experiment. This isn't that. But it does very much involve measurements of altitudes for the bits of card described as 17 feet off surface level. You're going to need a surface level, you're going to need eye level parallel with it, and you're going to need altitude measurements in order to describe this. So before we've done anything, you've measured Earth flat to describe these feet off surface level, you pair of clowns. Didn't you notice where it said surface level in the diagram? No, obviously not very observant.
A light at a camera, and you have a hole at one height.
Good.
I'm just saying, all it takes is a quick search for anybody of what is sea level used for. And sea level is used as a universal 0 point for measuring elevation and altitude, because the interconnectedness of the Earth's oceans allows for a relatively consistent base level for altitudes, with positive values for points above sea level and negative values for points below. This means sea level provides a standardized baseline for surveyors and cartographers worldwide.
So, in other words, in order to describe what is on screen now, before we do anything, don't need to shine any lights through any holes. The measurement, the only thing that's been measured in this diagram is off surface level in feet. Yeah, so we don't need to go any further with a spastic named Jaren and his alleged non-experiment. This isn't required. You've already measured Earth flat. Wouldn't it be helpful if we had a shill named Jaren to then take that flat Earth only measurement and ignore it and start shining lights through cardboard holes and calling them experiments? Yeah, that would be very useful. To completely ignore how flat Earth got measured to give us feet off surface level. I'll point out that in order to have this alleged experiment, it isn't. You've got to measure Earth flat for elevations off it. It's quite simple. Earth, as always, is and can only be measured flat. Here it is on screen, 17 feet in 3 different locations off surface level. You need a universal parallel sea level or surface level in order to measure the altitude. So it's game over, lads. You pair of spastics didn't notice. Yeah, that's because you're both retarded.
Height, and then like a mile down the road, you have the same piece of wood with the same hole, the same height. So you should
same height. So you seem to be using these flat Earth only prerequisite measurements in your own descriptions, but you didn't quite notice. Yeah, what a shock.
Just see the light going through both.
You know what I think the next level of this experiment?
You know, I think that these pair of fuckers who have absolutely no fucking idea what they're talking about, only published this 18 hours ago, and yet they've got 2,500 views on it, in spite of having a channel a third the size of mine. Why is that? That these two fucking retards get nearly 3,000 views in less than 24 hours, and I will struggle to get 100 live stream viewers after 10 years of researching this subject and refining the argument to the point where I can absolutely annihilate these two fucking retards. Why is that? It infuriates me. And I'll tell you why it is. They already covered it. It's because the algorithm favours these two dicks and the spastic flat earthers chewing gum over us talking about actual measurements, NTSB pitch data, sea level, surface level, charting, navigating, flying over Earth as a flat plane that we measure. That will mean we get limited views and YouTube props up these two fucking prepubescent spastics.
It should be if peen go through a hole at 17 feet and you
17 feet? Would that be a elevation measurement off surface level, you fucking tash-ridden spastic? You and your bumfluff are using flat earth measurements, you fucking retard.
go really far away, can you look at peen through hole at 17 feet? If
you can measure a flat earth to get 17 feet off it in 3 different positions, but that would mean you understood how flat earth is by way of the measurements being utilised before you start investigating what people think about it, having measured it flat.
Earth not flat.
Sorry, Earth's not flat. Why the fuck did you just use 3 flat Earth elevation measurements off surface level then, you fucking mustachioed spastic? No, fuckwit! You're a retard. You haven't got the slightest clue what you're babbling about, do you? That's why you're having a strip torn off you by me, Nathan Oakley, the one who knows how Earth's measured, and as a consequence, I have to be suppressed. And you get presented to the world to dumb them down. Your place on YouTube and TikTok is to make the rest of the spastic world even dumber. That's where you fit in. Now, me, knowing how Earth gets measured, we're not going to get promoted because we'd wake people up to how deceived they actually are with their government-based free education. You support the narrative, don't you? You're helping dumb the world down. You don't even know it.
You should join these guys.
Mind freak.
Good.
Yeah. What people should really realise is that people like these guys who make these videos will probably get subscribers because they make the videos. These type of people, go back a little bit of time, they wouldn't touch us. Brian Cox wouldn't come near us for 10 years until he was aware of us in 2014. Suddenly this nonsense thing happens in Antarctica in 2024, and suddenly Brian Cox is coming out. Now you have these other guys, like other podcasters like these guys, who suddenly are delving into the topic. I mean, if we were so easily defeated, right, with such ease, if it was so easy to show us to be that wrong, and to be so wrong, where were all these people before that?
These two, well, let me just answer you. These two are an itch in their dad's pants at that particular point in time.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is they're coming out now with arrogance and confidence because they think they have something, which they don't. Because they're talking as if they always knew, without a doubt, like that we were all always wrong. Well, how come you didn't make a video prior to December 2024 then? If you had such confidence in yourself and the position you hold concerning the geometry of the world, where were you in November 2024? Where were you? How come you didn't come out with your confidence then? Where was the confidence? You know, it's because what took place, I don't care what it was that took place in December 2024 in Antarctica or wherever else it took place, I don't care. What matters is they now think that solves the problem and the deal is closed, right? That's what they think. These types of people, it's like nobody, you have no idea, and none of these people have actually looked into that whole thing. None of these people have looked into it. Because in a way, it's like another 9/11. right? Or moon landing. I called it, when it first came out, I called it, and other people called it the same thing, I'm sure. I did hear other people saying it. But I personally called it moon landing dark clear, right? None of these people, right, have given it anything other than a surfacely looking at it, because they don't want to look into the background of any of this in case they find something that makes the story, or at least brings a little bit more doubt into their minds about the story than they have. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to find out whether Will Duffy was a good guy or not a good guy or anything like that, right? Now, that's only personal nonsense, right, to do with Will Duffy. The point I'm making is they'll surfacely look at this stuff. They don't want to go into any further than that. And then they come out with a video like this arrogantly as if we were all wrong and we're a crowd of, like, super idiots. It's like, I'm sorry, there's a lot of stupid people in the world. There is. But to think that a whole group of people can be as stupid as they think we are is one of the most, it must be the most stupid thought I've ever, group thought that I've ever experienced. It has to be. To think that, what, we're all so stupid. We grew up in the same world as them, but we're all so stupid that we completely got it wrong, regardless of what was shown to us. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Well, it's because they
maybe
get presented.
It's G that have gotten it wrong. Maybe it's them that have got it wrong. Did they ever even consider that?
No, because
they
they've been
won't even
told.
do any more than a surface look at December 2024. Go on, sorry.
It's because they've been told that it's not flat and educated that it's a ball from a very early age, and without any discernment, which you're not educated in. In a standard government education, they're not teaching you the Socratic method, they're not teaching you primary source research, they're not utilising the trivium to teach you. They're teaching you what's what and getting you to repeat it back verbatim on a test sheet. And if you don't repeat it back, as per the test sheet's dictation, then you fail. And therefore are a failure if you don't or aren't capable of repeating back rhetoric. And that's what they're fed, rhetoric. Now, when it comes to this subject, it's far easier to respond to some Brit chewing gum saying, I don't know, I think I'm a, what's it called? Flat earther? Yeah, that's the thing that they're going to get responding to, isn't it? That's what they get presented with. I've been saying this for weeks, right? That the suppression's horrendous. But this guy's just pointed out that he gets presented plenty of flat earth material. Yeah, from some chewing numpty talking about thinking about she's a flat earth or not. Yet that's what they get presented. But meanwhile, why have I started swearing? Why am I spitting feathers and furious? Like I say, because this is the net result of how algorithmically unbalanced this subject is. Like Chase Hughes was talking about, you know you're in a psyop when the people who talk truth have to be silenced. Now, we're not talking about the world falling. We're not talking about aliens coming on spaceships. No, we're talking about how Earth gets measured in black box data on aeroplanes. So that means that the views on this video, this one we're making now live, will struggle to get 1,000 video views. Whereas they will get thousands of views with a limited audience because it's being presented to everyone. Why? Well, because they're mocking flat earthers. Not with decent evidence, not with a standard that you can get behind, not with measurements, but with Jaron Campanella's use of flat earth measurements that are whistled past after doing a quote-unquote experiment with bits of fucking cardboard. That'll get them thousands of views. Well, me, like I say, having done this for 10 fucking years, that infuriates me. Absolutely infuriating that these two fucking Pindic spastics are getting thousands of views laughing at people and not using any decent discernment, no research, none. They're just reacting to what the algorithm gave them. And what did the algorithm give them? Dickhead retard flat earthers to react to. It's absolutely infuriating.
Yeah. You should be the first one that comes up in the algorithm, and you're not, and that's pretty sad.
No.
Sorry.
If you type my fucking name in, you'll find out thousands of detractor videos that lie about me and say I don't understand fucking flat earth measurements that I'm utilising and citing that are used to investigate life and death scenarios. I'm being presented by my opponents only. When you search for me, that's what censorship is. That's what a psyop looks like.
Attacks.
Go ahead.
In a load of personal attacks as well, not even on the subject.
Yeah, So, like I say, in this instance, I'm allowed to spit feathers. And given that the opener from these two prepubescent dickheads was to say that we're idiots, now, when it comes to your idiocy, I'll point it out with the most fury I can muster. You pair of retards. Do some research. Is it just what you were spoon-fed by your education? Did you not feel implied to go and do some primary source research? Maybe check whether or not what they told you was true or not? No, you don't have that level of discernment. You're both thick. So when it came to seeing the very real flat Earth height measurements off surface level, that you didn't even notice? Yeah, that's because you're both dumb. But that'll mean you get 10 times more views than me. Because that's what YouTube and society wants. They want the rest of the world to be dumbed down by you. So you're both useful tools. You're being used algorithmically to dumb the rest of the world down, while the actual people who've researched this subject get suppressed. That's me and everyone around me.
Be like, all right, let's run this experiment again. Just put your...
Do I have to do it for a third time? The elucidation of cause and effect based on a scientific prediction. That's a hypothesis, scientific prediction, and the prediction is what will cause the effect you observed in nature. You do it by variation and manipulation of a presumed cause, otherwise known as an independent variable, to see if it causes the dependent variable, otherwise known as naturally occurring phenomena. 3 times I've had to go through this with you. You keep using these words like you're intellectuals. Hello, spastics! Go and learn what science is before you use the word experiment. Oh, is it just because Jaron, another spastic, used the word? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Because the algorithm presented this. Oh, it was Netflix. Was it on the front page? Yeah? Just reacting to what you were given? Yeah. That's why you are useful to dumb the rest of the world down while we get suppressed talking about flat Earth, life and death measurements.
I just want to point out that took you about 30 seconds to go through that scientific method, what science is and what it isn't. So it doesn't take a long time.
Your penis through the
Put
hole.
peen through a hole and see if it can be visible from half a mile away.
Yeah, which you can because it's huge. It barely...
Half a mile like would be utilised in a horizontal planar system when surveying Earth, so the miles would be flat and linear. Again, you don't really understand the words you're using. Go and pick up a map and look at the scale on it. Does it look fucking curved, you pair of retards? Have you never travelled any distance? Oh, is it because you're too young to have a fucking driving licence?
Barely fits through the hole.
Exactly.
The Earth is flat. If he's holding it up at 23 feet high and we're seeing the light, well,
there you go.
So what's going on? Notice how what we've now got on the diagram is a bent level, a contradiction in terms much. You're not going to be 23 feet off sea level or surface level if it's bent. You've just defied the axiomatic principle used in the measurement to suggest that 23 feet is anything other than a height off surface level. No, the measurements are being violated when you suggest sphericity. So that scuppers this garbage, doesn't it?
The Earth's curved. Enrique, how high is your light?
But we don't need Jaron to do this measurement. Yeah? Like I've already referred to, NTSB pitch datas measuring the surface for thousands upon thousands of flown over miles. Linear, flat, utilisation of perpendicular elevation measurements. Do you know what these words mean, lads? Oh no, you just relied on this fucking retard, Jaron.
17 feet.
I mean, it's his. We don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head.
Interesting. I love that. Interesting. It's almost like we proved the other point.
Give me a second.
Sorry, you feel that Jaron poking a light through a bit of cardboard proves the ball? I mean, that's almost as good as the 1,000-year-old Alberuni elevation angle measurements of a mountain with horizontal distance measurements. It's almost like Jaron supersedes Alberuni. No, this does not prove the other side, because in order to suggest for you two spastics that this proves the other side, you had to violate the base principle of the measured height off surface level when you bent it. Did you not notice? Oh yeah, that's because you're both fucking retards. That's why you're being presented to the world that needs to be kept stupid.
Second, my worldview is being shattered.
Yeah, hold on. I need to think of a way out of this.
No, I don't. No, I just present the actual measurements of Earth's surface. In this instance, they were on screen the entire time until they were violated by bending surface level.
Interesting. Well, that's nice. I'm happy for that.
Oh, Aiden Ross.
This is my favorite streamer, though.
I honestly think...
Sorry, who is your favorite streamer? Aiden Ross is your favorite. Who's Aiden Ross? Anybody know?
No.
He's the stupidest streamer on...
Say again, Vaxi?
Isn't that like a rapper or something? Like a hip-hop artist? I don't know.
No idea. I'm not down with the kids, I'm afraid. I'm pretty old.
On the internet. I've seen so many stupid takes from Aiden Ross, and also he had Donald Trump on a stream, and like it's like Joe Rogan-y, where you're just like a puppet to be used to get pushed to...
A puppet being used to push certain narratives? How ironic. No, let's get this absolutely clear. You are a puppet. You are being used to push this narrative in defiance of how Earth gets measured. That's why I keep seeing your view counter roll up every time I click back onto your video. Because YouTube will promote this shit over and above what we cover, and that's flat Earth measurements used for your ball faith, including but not limited to Al Biruni's horizontal distance measurements used for trig when measuring heights of mountains. Surveys of mountains, like Brian continually examples, 100-mile distance to measure Everest, with horizontal distance, that's 100 miles, linear and flat, and an elevation angle to the mountaintop. That's how we calculate the height of the mountain by way of measuring Earth flat. Now, we are often faced by other numpties who tell us that we are wrong when we describe the prerequisite flat Earth requirement utilised by surveys. As though they're wrong? No, you can only use horizontal distance measurement in surveying if you're going to be using trig, and that is how Earth gets surveyed. But in all irony, you think that these people going on Aiden Ross are puppets? No, you two are puppets. You're being algorithmically promoted. That's how you've managed to make your way to me. Yeah? Because my audience sees you presented to them, not me personally. It's been presented to me by one of my participating members. Nevertheless, the reason you've been presented to me is because you are algorithmically favoured to dumb the world down. Hope you're proud.
Hello, fellow kids. I'm furthering the narrative.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You are indeed furthering the narrative of a ball that is based on flat Earth measurements.
Have you ever been to Antarctica? Yeah.
First off,
Antarctica. Oh, I love this subject. In Antarctica, you can probably still hear my name echoing around the snow. Because on this show, which you can join, gentlemen, I'm sure you've now had a link from one of my participating audience members letting you know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. You, like one of the participating members in the Antarctic crew that went down to measure Earth flat, could also phone me to talk about whether or not there are guns in Antarctica. Like, where are the guns, Nathan? That would be me and my name echoing around Antarctica. Why? Well, because I pointed out to the people who did go down to Antarctica and actually did some measurements, unlike Mr. Beast, that their measurements were of a flat Earth. Elevation angle measurement sound familiar? Yeah, I've been talking about it quite a lot while we point out how you're being used as tools to dumb the world down because you're so idiotic. Your poor research favours the control structures that keeps you and everybody watching you dumb. Meanwhile, the people who do go to Antarctica and make elevation angle measurements to the sun for 24 hours, apart from Ugly Dave McKeegan, couldn't quite wrap his head around his own tripod. But other than Fugly Dave McKeegan, who couldn't quite cope with a tripod, the rest of the crew measured Earth flat with elevation angle measurements for a full 24 hours. That would be a flat Earth prerequisite surface level utilised in an elevation, that means off the ground, angle measurement to the sun. So Earth got measured flat even by the people who were there to disprove us. End result, my name echoing around the Antarctic snow. Where are the guns? Was the response when I pointed out that they, that would be the Antarctic investigators, measure Earth flat when trying to debunk how flat it is.
Of Antarctica. You ever been to Antarctica? Antarctica?
Antarctica?
Have you ever been
Right, that's not what he said. He just said Antarctica. What are they talking about?
to Antarctica?
I love the mystery music playing under it too.
You can see XQC's face just being ready for the dumb to just spew out.
Really? Can you see my face? Do I look impressed with you two fucking retards? Am I waiting for the dumb? No, I watched this in advance. I already knew how fucking stupid you two were before I covered this video. So I'm not waiting for anything. I know you're both spastics.
Do you believe in the ice wall? Yeah,
Yeah, there we go with the controlled opposition narrative. Are we talking about whether or not Earth gets measured flat? No, we're asking first question. If there's an Antarctic ice wall, who gives a shit? Earth got measured flat in Antarctica. But we'll discuss whether or not there's an ice wall. Yeah, that's the controlled opposition narrative that they'd like you to have.
I saw the ice wall.
I was wrong. XQC immediately jumped on it. I saw the ice wall.
But I think he's fucking with him. I don't think he's being serious.
I hope so. I do think.
Are you two being serious? I mean, I just want to know. I'm asking for a friend. Are you really this fucking stupid? I mean, did you really do absolutely no research into how Earth got measured before you made this video? I mean, are you really this fucking stupid? I'm just asking for a friend.
I think XQC is not the dumbest person alive.
Nah, I think you two are. I think you two are fundamentally retarded. That's what I think. And it's based on a demonstrable fact in terms of how you behave. You're both fucking retards.
Aside from all the gambling stuff that he does, he doesn't seem, from what I've seen, like a bad
anything
person
other
or
than a
anything.
normal fucking guy.
So, I don't know.
Match day isn't.
I do.
He saw it too.
I can't say I'm sure. No way. We'll talk about it later. That's crazy.
They're both fucking with him.
No,
you can
they
tell XQC took over to then get Mr. Beast to dunk on him.
So you're both Mystic Meg, divining other men's thoughts, eh? Wow. What's next? You gonna dig out your crystal ball?
Immediately, Mr. Beast is also like, yeah, okay. He immediately sees the situation for what it is.
Does he? Again, divining another man's thoughts. Kind of pathetic. You don't know what Mr. Beast is thinking. He just said, yeah. That was all he said. But you've decided what he's thinking. Hello? Spastic much? Yeah. Again, I'll just say it one more time. Useful idiots keeping the world stupid. Divining another man's thoughts based on a single word? Yeah. Now you know what he's thinking, do you? Oh, really? Can I buy the same crystal ball you're using, Spastic?
But it depends, because which Mr. Beast are we dealing with? Are we dealing with the Mr. Beast with good teeth or bad teeth? That's
an ad hominem attack
question.
Aiden Ross is a moron, and these guys are clearly fucking with him.
Yeah.
Are they?
Let's run it back one more time.
Have you ever been to Antarctica?
Yeah, you're right. He says it weird.
Do you believe in the ice wall? Yeah, I saw the ice wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's asked, have you seen an ice wall? And he says yes. And from that, you draw the conclusion that someone's fucking with someone else. Oh my God.
Yeah, you saw it too.
Yeah, so clearly fucking with him, and he's like, no way.
Yo, I'm not the only one with this fringe theory.
I like
theory. Oh God, got to do it again.
Before you do it, just take a break. Right? These guys are your super typical podcast bros. That's what they are, isn't it? These are the epitome of those boneheads, right? They're the same kind of white, middle-class American, kind of Californian accent, kind of, everyone's a bro, and they're thrown out names, and they're all paid by somebody. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they're on the lower end of the pay, but they're trying to move up the ranks in whatever company they're working for. Possibly Mr. Beast, right, whose reputation took a hit there last year when a member of his own staff became a trans person and then did some weird stuff with some underage kids or something, or people or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Kids or so, I don't know, there was some weird stuff went on there. Point is that it's strange that what I notice a lot, and I have noticed over time, is when people like this approach this topic. Earlier on, they were talking about Gerald's hole in the piece of cardboard, and about another piece of cardboard that some guy called Enrique, right, who nobody ever saw, right, was supposedly had whatever 3 miles away, right. They started talking about putting their penises through it, right. Why does it have to become sexual? What's that about? Is it that's where you need to go to because the topic is something you don't want to deal with, or is that the red herring to make people's minds not focus upon what's happening? Like, I've heard this a lot. They start going into this sexual undertone thing. What is that? Is it an anger thing? Is it a fear thing?
It's puberty.
Because anger, fear.
Puberty.
Is it? Go on.
It's called puberty.
Yeah, it's not. Nah, Nathan. Nah, this is not that. Nah, you can't call it that. This is different. Like,
I can.
Why?
I remember being that age. I was like a dog with 2 dicks.
What about when I've heard it from people who weren't that age?
Maybe they just weren't as horny as me.
There goes your idea.
Them. They're just horny kids. I can relate.
Nah.
They're looking at holes of the wall.
Yeah, nah. That doesn't wash with me. That response where they start going into sexual matters, that is not because of puberty or anything else. That is a defense mechanism or something, or a red herring for people. There's something weird there. I've noticed that in more, and not just these guys who are what you're saying are 14. They're not bloody 14, Nathan.
Like how all the comments like don't catch on to it too. Yeah. Bro, why does there have to be so many secrets? Don't tell the humans about something that could change their lives. I just don't get it.
That's a crap comment. My responses to almost everybody are almost identical now. People accuse me of cutting and pasting my comments to them, and I don't. I type them all out individually. But meanwhile, Earth's measured flat, as per my comment responses, as opposed to there's a secret being held. No, it's not a secret. You know, they publish NTSB pitch data. We got it from a public source because it's not a secret. Surveys of Earth, they're not secret. They're just done flat. Hence our opponents like Simon Dan pointing out how flat Earth gets measured and then apologising for the lack of an Earth curve that isn't being measured and saying, oh, well, it's only a limited amount of Earth curve, so you don't need to measure it when we measure Earth flat. In other words, this isn't a secret. But the commenters need to make it seem that way, and that's what will get highlighted.
Even if it's true, how would it change your life at all?
It wouldn't.
How it would change your life? I don't know. I mean, I would suspect that me pointing out that you've done no research may or may not result in you changing your fucktard ways in terms of how much research you do in future videos. Maybe not. That's the only change I can perceive. But like I've just pointed out, nothing changes. Earth was, is, and always will be measured flat by everyone always. That's how it's measured. So in terms of what changes, nothing. Just spastics and how quickly they get promoted by YouTube after I point out how limited their research base was. So whether or not you change how limited your research is up to you, you pair of fucking retards.
We have footage of aliens getting hit with fucking military strikes.
Called it. So when I said yesterday and the day before, the reason we are so heavily suppressed is because they need dickheads to be scared shitless that they're going to be attacked by aliens. Now, this guy has just said he knows this is true. You listen to the standard that he now goes into.
And still, everybody just goes to work. You didn't see that?
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you get fooled by AI?
No, buddy. This is Congress. If Congress is fooling me with AI, then I have a heavier problem.
Either way.
Yeah, you do. Many a true word spoken in jest. Yeah, the problem here is that you've just accepted carte blanche what you've been fed on a screen. You've decided, because of what was formerly ridiculed back in the 60s and 70s in the back pages of newspapers, is now absolutely true because the government said it's true. So when the government said aliens are stupid, what a crazy notion, everybody laughed along at the people who were saying they'd seen aliens. Now that the government say, oh yeah, look at this black and white shit 144p grainy as all hell footage, this is definitely an alien being hit by a missile, you swallow that shit whole. Num 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 num, government told me we've got aliens, so we've got aliens. That's your standard. The government told you, so it's so. Okay, you're not going to do any more research into it. You're just going to accept it because the government told you. Oh, wow. Well, obviously, the government are your best friend. They've definitely only got your best interests at heart when they tell you to be scared of black and white grainy footage. It's me. Is it just me? Did we cover this also a couple of days ago? If it's 240p images of Bigfoot, people in the comments will be like, why is it that in 2025 we've got black and white, out of focus, low-res pictures of Bigfoot being used to evidence this standard? And that's apparently not good enough. But yet when the government gives it you in the shittiest low-res black and white blurry footage, it means it's absolutely true because it came from the government. You not see the disparity, you pair of retards? Yeah, that's because you only swallow what the government tells you to swallow. You're a pair of cucks.
Either way, it doesn't change anything.
No,
it
exactly.
doesn't.
Aliens have been confirmed by our governing bodies. And
have they now? They've been confirmed? Aliens? No, the reason, again, like I say, we get suppressed is because we point out, based on laws of nature, how the sky is not a vacuum. If the sky was a vacuum, 10 to the minus 17 torr for the little green aliens to come from, then the gas you are enjoying breathing would have filled the space and would have never developed gas pressure.
And it doesn't change people's lives.
Does this explain why we get no sun at night?
What's going on in the middle of the world?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Dude.
There's 3 worlds?
There's
more utter garbage being peddled out as being flat Earth rhetoric. Now, Earth's measured flat in all instances without exception. When you measure Earth, it will be flat. For elevations off surface level, for parallel flight level, for sailing, for mapping, for charting, for flights. All of these things require the axiomatic principles of perpendicular, parallel, and a plane to be measured. There aren't any exceptions. So what do you need to do if that's the case? Well, you need this kind of shit to be presented as though it's the flat Earth rhetoric. And what we say, no, Earth's just measured flat. For you and me and everyone always, yeah, shove us to the bottom of the lists and replace my search, Nathan Oakley search, with every detractor saying I'm a child-abusing scumbag.
3 worlds, because the world is a stack of flat.
Yes, good.
Also, we are being invaded by aliens, except they're coming from beyond the horizon, usually on rubber dinghies.
Yeah, realistic aliens coming from the new worlds. Yeah, they come from horizontal. That's where we found the new worlds. That's where all the resources would be if we kept on looking out towards the horizon. Unless we're told that there's a finite amount of resources and they need to keep control of them and control the price of them, control you in the process. Yeah, that's what's really happening here, as of about 300 years ago. But in my humble opinion, it can't last forever. This lie and deceit about Earth and its alleged shape when it's measured as a plane of reference will eventually fail. Because you can't hide the fact of Earth measurement forever. Yes, you can attempt to suppress me, but there's going to be a certain amount of interaction. Like my audience interacting with you two pair of spastics telling you at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. If you are watching this in my live stream currently, and you're amongst the very limited audience that I get, 76 people currently watching, this video with less than 10,000 subscriber base will have outstripped my live stream before we've finished it in terms of the amount of views it gets. Nevertheless, this particular video is worthy of a share, so I have shared it. Hopefully, if these two numpties were to do a reaction, they'd do the same service for me. That is to say, they'd put a link to my video and say, go and check out Nathan Oakley's video. He talks about how Earth gets measured flat, rather than talking about Joe Rogan. Anyway, there's a link going by to Guilty Dog Productions, Guilty Dogs Productions. Bit of a weird phrasing that, but nevertheless, go and let them know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me if you are in my live stream currently. Is there any other comments before I round out the live stream and ask people to stay tuned?
No, but for the after show, somebody has finally sent me some globe proof.
I will cover that now. Let's do that now.
No, yeah, just 1 second. It's only because of puberty, Nathan. That's it.
Only what? Say that again.
It's just puberty. That's all. It's only puberty.
What, being horny?
These guys, everything they do is just puberty. That's what it is.
I did not say everything they did is just because of puberty. That's a gross exaggeration.
Yeah, I had puberty in my 20s. Just stop.
He's upset with you because you cut him off. Here's the proof that Earth is a sphere. The distance along the equator between two longitudes.
Stop. What's the equator? Brian? Minimum.
Puberty. It's puberty.
I knew
I'll get
it.
lost. The equator is a derivation of the minimum elevation angle to Polaris. It's a circular value. It's an area of equal elevation.
It's a latitude.
Yeah. But that's a circle of equal elevation, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's using flat Earth. But he goes on to say the two longitudes is greater than
longitude, like this described on screen. So when you utilize a glorified protractor, you will infer a flat plane of reference to measure in order to derive latitude and longitude, which then gets transposed onto a flat map with a flat grid in a Cartesian system. So all utilization of these flat Earth prerequisite elevation angle measurements in the form of latitude and longitude are flat Earth proofs that they whistle past when they suggest they're proving a globe.
Yeah, so, and then he says, goes on to, is the two longitudes is greater than along any latitude, both north and south of the equator. Absolute proof that it's a globe.
Stop.
North and south just means that they're experiencing puberty. I mean, north and south means that they are, in fact, utilizing horizontal distances and horizontal directionality. I'll just do it for the benefit of the audience. Which way is north? Is that north? What about that? Is that north? No, that is north. It's a horizontal distance. If you don't believe me, because you think this is based on belief, idiots, go and buy a freaking compass and have a look at it and how it functions. The directions, rather, are flat, horizontal distances. You don't get to use north, south, east, or west if you're describing sphericity. They are plain directions.
Let me give you a flat Earth proof. Two things. Number one, how many dimensions is latitude and longitude, Nathan?
3.
2.
2 dimensions.
Oh, when it's Cartesian, when it's on a grid.
Yeah, latitude and longitude. I said, how many dimensions is latitude and longitude? You said 3. I thought you were joking. You were serious.
Well, you can measure it through a protractor view. That's why I said 3-dimensionality.
No, latitude and longitude. Right, that's 2. That's 2. That's why it will. That's why you can be converted to an XY grid, not XYZ, XY grid. It's 2. Only 2 dimensions.
Fine. But the measurement itself. Well, okay, fine. But the measurement itself is 3.
Yeah, never mind the measurement.
Fine.
What it is 2 dimensions.
Fine.
2-dimensional.
Yes, I did mention that in my little preamble that it's converted to a Cartesian grid. That's the bit you meant. Fine. 2.
No. It doesn't matter whether it's converted to Cartesian XY. It doesn't matter. It's 2 dimensions. 2 dimensions. Latitude and longitude. That's it. That's 1 latitude and longitude 2. End of story. The surface of a sphere, right, is incorrectly called 2-dimensional. It can't be 2-dimensional because there's a drop between any 2 points, regardless of distance. There's a drop between any 2 points. A measurable drop on a sphere that you can measure. A drop. Right, from the straight line, from the tangent. That means it's not 2-dimensional, it's 3-dimensional. Because that's, right, latitude and longitude is 2 dimensions. Just like X and Z are 2 dimensions. Now, X and Y are 2 dimensions. X, Y, and Z are 3. But the latitude and longitude grid converts to an XY grid, not an XYZ, XY grid. 2 dimensions again. Point I'm making is there's only 2 dimensions to that coordinate system.
Yes.
So it cannot work on the surface of a sphere. Prove that, right? Have everyone, right, in South Australia, South Africa, and South America, have them all point north and see if they're pointing horizontally or if they're pointing down to their feet.
Yes, well put. Any more for any more?
No, that was the big ball proof. I hope everybody's paying attention.
I'm going to invoke puberty blockers.
I knew Brian was going to come back with that when you asked him, Brian?
Anything other than my egregious use of puberty as an explanation, which I now retract. Okay, Brian, I retract it, okay? Clearly not going to get a response.
No, you don't. Not really, you don't.
I do. Okay, well, I'll give my full explanation right. I am only spitting feathers and casting aspersions in terms of them being prepubescent, which they're not. And anybody can see that. They've got full-on facial hair to a certain degree. My point is, my fury isn't really aimed at them, yeah? So I'll just have to go on camera and say it. In reality, lads, you're inconsequential to me. I won't give you a second thought after this live stream ends, to be perfectly honest. I don't care what you do. I mean, that's in all sincerity. But I am a YouTuber and I've been doing this for 10 years. And I struggle. And I struggle because people like you who mock me, not me, but the flat earthers that you're presented with, you will get algorithmic favoritism. It's by government decree when they told YouTube to promote you over me. Well, that makes me kind of bitter and jealous of you. Now, you can point that out if you want it in your response video. I am jealous because as a YouTuber, I want the views that you're getting. Now, it's not like you're getting massive views. You're getting a couple of thousand views on your video in the first 24 hours, which is just reasonable views when you're a new YouTuber doing a good job. Your editing skills are okay. You've got a reasonable personality. I wish you every success as YouTubers. But in terms of Globers, you're a pair of spastics. And that's why you're being utilised by the algorithm to keep people dumb. I do mean that bit. It is true. You are dumb. And that is why you are being promoted. Because you tell the world that we are wrong. Now, you're not basing that on any actual fact or evidence or measurement. You're basing it on your opinion after watching a couple of other algorithmically favoured flat earthers' opinions. That's what you're doing. Well, that pisses me off because I put a lot of work into what I do here. By a lot of work, I mean I listen to the people around me and parrot verbatim what Brian says.
I think it's about time we try to get that ban lifted.
What ban?
How do you go about doing that?
No, you put a lot of work in, Nathan, and you have done for years with your YouTube channel. The problem is that you're working for a company, right, that has the most unfair employment
regime.
Sorry, say that again?
Regime.
Yeah, employment regime ever, because you're doing the same job as someone else, yet they're getting paid way more money. Yet you have to adhere to the same rules and you're doing the same. You are the same as those guys. You're the same, but they're more favored than you. That's a totally unfair regime. Totally unfair working practices. Like people can say, I don't work for YouTube. I didn't sign any contract. Once you adhere to their rules, that's the contract. You break their rules, you get a strike. 3 strikes, you're out. You know what I mean? They can decide you're out even without 3 strikes.
And the whole paradigm is set up in such a way to make them, these 2 kids, my enemy. And they're not. They're just kids on the internet. They're just doing their YouTube bit and having a bit of laugh whilst making videos. Yet, because of the way that YouTube structures their algorithm and favours people who condescend to us and mock us, it means that I suddenly have to enter into this left versus right paradigm where I'm attacking them. So in other words, in many ways, you could say I'm as guilty because I'm buying into that us versus them narrative. So I'm just as guilty as they are. But it's out of pure frustration, most of it financially based. That is to say, I work hard. It'd be nice to just be able to cover the mortgage. And when you're getting 86 viewers on a video that's covering the most refined flat earth argument you can have, you'd expect to increase your viewers as you increase your subscription base. But that's not the case. This video is held away from everybody, even in my own subscriber base, whilst these 2, who've got much lower numbers in terms of subscribers, will get triple the views because they're being presented to everybody. Why? Well, because they're mocking us. Well, I shouldn't buy into that and bite on it and start attacking them back because I'm then a useful idiot as well, aren't I?
Yeah, but that's not good because I could look for something in sports and I'll get the best. It seems like you search this flat earth topic and you get the worst and the most ridiculous. People got to start complaining.
Yeah.
But let me throw something out there as a funny fact that I didn't think enough about before I did it. But I made a video. I'm not going to go into the topic. It's a bit conspiratorial, right? It's a recent thing everyone's aware of. Doesn't matter what it is. The point is, it wasn't about flat Earth, it was about something else. And I got attacked by both sides, right, if you look in the comments. Some people were kind of in the middle a little bit with me, but a lot of people who were against me on both sides, of both flat and globe. The ballers were against me because I was too conspiratorial, and the flat earthers were against me because I wasn't conspiratorial enough. Right. So if you're anyway sitting in the middle, it seems, right, and you're putting out actual good flat earth content, which I do, and you do, right, you're not favoured. If you're not a complete conspirator...
Am I only hearing this for the first time? Not conspiratorial enough? You suggested that the gun behind Charlie Kirk was... the camera behind Charlie Kirk was actually a gun.
Yeah, well, the flat earthers are saying that I'm a sellout, some of them. Some of them, I was even called a shill, and some of them unsubscribed from me because they said that I'm promoting rubbish because they say that the man is still alive. Now, I don't know, right? I'm not saying he's alive or dead. I'm just saying if he was, my point was in the video, like not to do with flat earth, my point was I have a lot more people reasons for making that video that nobody knows about, right? Do these people think that I didn't think for a moment that it's possible that the whole thing is a hoax? Of course I did, right? But the point is, I can't make that video without giving the pre-assumption that he did actually get shot. Pointing out something that was very much a likelihood. But I was called, basically, they didn't call me this, but I was attacked for not being conspiratorial enough by the flat earthers.
Unbelievable.
Right?
Damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
No, there's a conspirator. Sorry.
Well, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, by the sounds of things. And I saw Russian Vids, or RV Truth as is now known, making a video pointing out flat out truths video being complete nonsense, where he's claiming that the entire tent that Charlie was in was a hologrammatic projection of Charlie. You're like, really? Are you really going to put your name next to this? Well, yeah, because that video will reach tens of thousands of people. Why? Well, because it makes him sound insane. That's why.
Well, my video is conspiratorial, but it's not so conspiratorial that the average person on the street couldn't go, I couldn't say that's impossible, right? Whereas there's other people on the street who would say, there's no way he's not dead, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you couldn't be hoaxed and he could be alive. That doesn't mean that's not possible. But the point I'm making is the video I made, and I said a flat earther's point of view, right? Or a flat earther's perspective, was in a way to show the public, one of the reasons, only one of many, I'm not going to go into all the reasons why I made it, is that we actually can point out things that a lot of other people can't see and don't see because they can't think outside the box. You have to think like your enemies. You have to think like, who is his enemy? If they wanted to actually assassinate the man, what would they actually do? What would be the best way to do it to hide it? And now, as I said, there's a lot more about that. I'm not going into reasons why I made it. But the point being is that on one side, people are saying I'm a conspirator. The ballers, they were coming at me with literally the totally official rhetoric, even though that is not believable by anyone, right? Snipers, everyone, no one believes it, right? But then you have the opposite side, my own side, who maybe they're coming at me saying I should be saying that he's dead, or I should be saying he's still alive. That I'm pushing rubbish when I'm saying that he actually could have got shot. Do you know what I mean? So there's no, you can't win. Like I'm trying to, if someone in the general public is going to come across a video from a flat earther talking about the subject, I would think it would be better if they come across my video than someone else who's saying that he was a hologram or saying that it was all Hollywood fakery. I think it would look better on us if they come across my video. Because yes, it's conspiratorial, but it's not impossible at all. Like, I mean, the fact that you could have a gun camera or a camera that's a camera and a gun, that's totally been done. Do you know what I mean? This is not something like that's outside. This is not like an alien spaceship that they all believe in. Do you know what I mean?
No, I totally get you.
Even, now I go into privately with you the other reasons why, and there's other developments you don't know about, and I'll tell you about it privately, right? Things that happen behind the scene. But the point is that either way you go, right? If you go completely conspiratorial as a flat earther, you will get promoted way more. If you go mainstream, you get promoted way more. So the ballers are promoted way more than you or me. And the conspiratorial flat earthers are promoted way more than you and me. David White's being a good example. But me and you are not promoted at all.
Indeed.
You know, as soon as you come out with a balanced frame of mind and a balanced direction, they don't want you around. You have to either be a complete cook to the narrative, or you have to be so conspiratorial about it that the average person won't listen to you. Even if you're right, they won't listen. They listen in 20 years' time if they turn out to be right. That's it. 20 years' time is no good to us.
Right. Neil, you can have the last word. Go ahead.
I'm good. Go ahead.
I'm just going to round out. Well, that's a terrible anticlimax. Okay, fine. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
Like a Discord text message.
Yeah.
Well,
but that was back. I'm sure the robot I replaced will listen.
Yeah, but hold on. What I'm saying is, when I search for something in sports, I get the best. Cooking, you get the best. Flat Earth, you get rejects. When people start putting pressure on YouTube itself, if I search for something, I want something good. Why in this category am I getting garbage? I've heard of a guy, Nathan Oakley. I've heard of Brian's Logic. I heard of Quantum Eraser. How come I'm not getting these videos? Maybe you'll see a change then. People got to start making noise.
No, what needs to happen, Neil, is there needs to be, right, and this is needed for a long time, and we're not divorced. There needs to be a YouTube union, a union for YouTube content creators. But someone tried to get that together some years ago. I think it was connected to could have been connected to the 9/11 topic or something like that, or the COVID topic or something, because people viewed YouTube as suppressing truth or, whatever. Right, unfairly dismissing people's channels and stuff like that. So there was someone who did try to do that some years ago, and I don't know what happened to them. But obviously it didn't happen because there isn't a YouTube union. But like any workplaces, there needs to be a union that YouTube content creators should be able to, be part of. Now it'll be corrupt like every other union, right? But at least the toilets will be working. Do you know what I mean? On site. Do you know what I mean? It's like unions do something, but for this kind of situation, when you don't have a union, then you don't have anything. Do you know that kind of way? So YouTube, like, if all the content creators just stopped making content tomorrow, right? Then YouTube would be in serious trouble. Do you know what I mean? But that's the problem. Can you even get people? Let's say there was a YouTube union, right? And there was suddenly a strike on, right? You're going to have people making content anyway. You're going to have that. So the problem is people are selfish. So I don't know how we're going to solve the issue. Just put up with YouTube's behavior, or go away off of YouTube. That seems to be the, I don't know how even a union would fix the problem, to be honest with you. But that's the only option you have, is a YouTube union.
Well, they got to stop suppressing people. If people want the information, I'm answering my own question. Why are they suppressing it? Why? Because they don't want this information out there. This is catastrophic to the world system that we're in. And it's funny how when everybody's talking about measurements and proving that Earth is flat, now all of a sudden this alien thing is coming heavy, hard and heavy. That's a little bit weird. But once you know it's flat, the alien stuff goes out the window. Too many people are starting to realize it now. Let's pump this alien narrative before it's too late.
Well, you know what the problem is? Let's just say Charlie Kirk. Let's just say he's alive, right? And it's all a big joke, right? Let's just say all the flat earthers saying that. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong, because I don't know. I'm not saying they're wrong. I had the thought myself. It was one of the first thoughts I had, right? This doesn't make sense. But the point I'm making is, let's just say he is. And let's just say in 20 years' time, some big podcaster or whatever starts making a whole series about this thing, right? Tucker Carlson, who everyone's aware of, is one of the biggest podcasters in the world, if not the biggest, outside of Joe Rogan or something. He's making a thing about 9/11, right? A big series he's doing. His first part came out, blah, blah, blah. So let's just say he actually, I don't know what's going to be in this. I doubt it's going to be correct or true. But the point being is that in 20 years' time, if some big podcaster is making a whole thing about the Charlie Kirk shooting hoax, blah, 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 right? What the hell good is that to the people today? Where was the Tucker Carlson 20 years ago? Where were the people 20 years ago when the whole event happened in New York? Where were they? 20 plus years ago. Sorry, they'd be talking 24 years ago, heading for 25 or whatever.
Well, they had everybody enraged. I almost joined the service.
But see, there you go. Right. The point is that the truth is no good to you decades later. It's not no good, but I mean, if you found out tomorrow exactly what happened, now fair enough. If you found out tomorrow exactly what happened to JFK, right, exactly the full truth, right, there'd be definitely fingers that could be pointed. Maybe even more that would need to happen. I don't know, right. The point being is that the time for the truth is there and then. So where I'm going with this concerning us is, what is the point in these podcasters that Nathan just reviewed a while back on the live show? Right? What's the point in them in 10 or 15 years, right, when they have 2 kids and a wife and a marriage is on the rocks and a mortgage or whatever, right? And they're going, you know what, I think we were wrong about that. It's like, what good are you to us then? We need you to not be wrong today. Not to be admitting you're wrong in 15 years' time. It's great that you're admitting you're wrong, but that's not helping anyone. You know what I mean?
This is what they're getting fed. If let's say this whole thing was honest, and these people, they got a YouTube channel and they say, let's check out this flat earth thing. So what do? You go to YouTube and you start punching in flat earth. And this is what they were given. Can we be angry with them? Yeah, can they go a little deeper? Yeah, but do most people? I don't, because when I Google in sports, I'm happy with the videos I'm presented. They're on point. So these people are getting what YouTube is giving them. So how can we be angry with them?
Because this is not sports, Neil. You're not dealing with sports. You're dealing with a situation where there's a group of people telling you that what you've been fed is true, and that your forefathers were fed is true for hundreds of years is false. So this is not sports. This is more controversial. So, I mean, if they truly wanted, these people, if they really and truly wanted to find out more about the topic, they could. They could delve deeper than they just did. They're not so stupid that they couldn't do that, right? They just aren't interested because they just pre-assume that they're correct or that the official narrative is correct.
But Brian, when this first came to me, right? If I punched in flat earth, I got good stuff, right? But if this was happening now, look at the stuff I'd be getting fed.
Well, no.
I would look at that beyond curve and be like, holy shoot. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but when you say, we got given feast and nonsense, right? Now, it wasn't all bad, right? There was some good stuff in there, right? But we did get a feast of nonsense. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't a nice wall or there isn't a dome. I'm not saying there is or isn't. The point I'm making is we got fed that, right? Now they are getting fed stuff to do with, let's say, they'll see the behind the curve and then they'll see the TFE. But to say, like, are they going, hang on, how come the same guy, the same Jaron Campanella guy, isn't directly, basically the figurehead, right, for our supposed side, which he was never on, in both? Isn't that so, like, come on. I mean, like, that's way beyond an accident. Any normal person could spot that.
Yeah, but all they're saying is, hold on, this guy was a flat earther. Now he's a global.
Yeah, but how was he? Like, I mean, you don't have to be a flat earther to see that somebody is not the real deal. This guy is directly involved in these 2 hit jobs. That's not somebody who's a flat earther. Like, it's like I wouldn't need to be a flat earther to spot.
You're thinking about it with your mind, Brian. You got to put yourself into other people, the regular Joe Schmo. You're thinking of it how you know this topic now.
I don't know. I think the regular person out there, I think they're wide enough, Neil. Like, they should be able to spot, hang on, this same guy, like, I mean, what's the chances?
Let's use Jaron, that same guy. They go to his channel. All of a sudden, he had this huge flat earth channel. Now, all of a sudden, he goes to Antarctica and he's Wow, it was proven. It's a globe. He shut his whole town down and everything. That's the way they're going to see it. They're not going to be like, wait a second. We are, because we know.
Yeah, so they don't get to see anything he ever said or did before that. It's all gone, like, everything's gone now. All the video's gone. Right? They don't get to see any of these other things. They don't get to experience what he said or anything pointed out about anything at any time. Right? They don't get to see even these NASA videos, which would intrigue them.
Okay.
Hang on a minute.
Let's turn this around. My whole life, right? Let's just say, I don't, but let's just say I was under the impression that Paul McCartney actually did die. And I had a YouTube channel, and I'm putting out all of this content. Then all of a sudden, this vain thing comes in, and it shows beyond the shadow of a doubt that Paul is Paul. I'm deleting all my stuff because it's embarrassing. And that's the way they're viewing Jaron Campanella.
I understand that, right? But this is not like one thing that just turned up that was suddenly like totally conclusive, right? This is a claim, two different times where the same person was the same figurehead, the same clown, right? Useful clown, right? Who's not so much of a clown for at both times. Like, where is all the rest of the people who are as stupid as Sharon? We must all be totally like people as a group, right? I understand people can be stupid, but right, there is no way that there's a group of people out there who are that stupid unless they're part of a cult. And Flat Earth is not a cult. It isn't a cult, right? It's not. There's a community out there. It's not a cult. A cult, everyone agrees upon everything. Flat Earth is the most non-cult thing ever because everyone's constantly arguing. Even here, we're constantly arguing, right? You go to Scientology, they're all in total alignment. You go to Globe, they're all in total alignment. They might argue about some nonsense out in heliocentric space, say, well, I think it's more made of carbon than, right, or whatever rubbish they want to come up with. But as far as heliocentrism goes, they're all in total alignment. You know, every cult, everyone's in total alignment. You know, they're all Jim Jones, they're all following Jim Jones. The point I'm making is that there is no, if we're not a cult, then how could they think that we're all people of all kinds? Like, what do they think? Do you think flat earthers are just people who never went outside? Like, what did it, like, I mean, it couldn't be more obvious that these people think that there's actually a group of people out there in the world, and this group is growing daily, right, that don't understand reality.
Because they're not getting good content. When they look it up, they're getting garbage. So they're going to stay in their conditioned situation because all they're getting is fed garbage.
I think it's more. I just don't trust that. I don't trust that they're so inept that they would just think all these people are really stupid. That's it. It's like, I'm sorry, no. I like especially the fact that flat earthers, like COVID, what was COVID? A load of people just did what they were told, right? The whole world did what they were told, right? And went along with this whole thing, right? So that showed people who follow the mainstream narrative, right, can, and the same for, like, people think, oh, COVID was the biggest hoax ever. Look at all the different wars. Look what happened to the war in Iraq. Right, over, I think, 1.5 million Iraqi people killed, or something like that. It's like, you think that COVID was bad? That was a hoax. There's no end of hoaxes that have been going on. Most of them are for wars, right? Yeah, when people follow the mainstream narrative, yeah, they often walk into a hoax. But we're not those. We're the opposite of the mainstream. We're against that mainstream. We're calling out the mainstream, right? People who are flat earthers and like, we call out the mainstream. So to think that we would all be hoaxed, you know what I mean, is ridiculous. To come up with that, like no, you would have to be part of a mainstream situation for that to happen. That's when it happens. You know, when you follow.
In my opinion, I think if these guys, these two, let's say they came across a legit Ryan's Logic video, breaking down celestial navigation or elevation angle or flight, and they come across Nathan Oakley video, and then they come across a quantum eraser video, and we go down the line. I don't think they'd be talking that way.
Well, I don't think they should need to, is my point. Like, my point is that when I got, I was a bit angry earlier on when I came in there, because I'm hearing these people, like these guys, who are all super confident, who I didn't have any confidence in as far as addressing the topic prior to December 2024. You actually have suddenly, like, Brian Cox comes out in December 2024. I was like, where were you for 10 years, Brian Cox? You're not a peep out yet, hiding in your bedroom for 10 years. Flat out as outside the door. 10 years you hid in your bedroom. Suddenly, Will Duffy, right, does something, whether it was all true, all false, I don't care. Whatever he done, suddenly Brian Cox comes up and he's the big man. It's like, where were you for 10 years, Brian Cox? And these people, these guys, well, what's their angle? It's like, I just don't believe that they are so inept that they can't dig a little bit deeper than they did, or that they actually think there's a group of people out there who are still so stupid that they can't measure out or something. You know what I mean? It's just like, give me a break.
It's about the measurements.
They're aware that measurements exist. The point I'm making, Neil, is that podcasters like these guys, something about them is just not organic. It's just not organic for me. I'm sorry, it's not. You meet those guys on the street and they won't be carrying on like that. I'll talk to someone on the street, I'll go inside my door right now and I'll chat to them the same as I'm talking to you, especially if it's about something that I'm passionate about a bit. I will speak like this. Right? That is how I speak.
Brian,
that is not how they speak in real life. Those guys don't carry on like that in real life. That's not it.
They're also YouTubers, though. They're doing a show as well.
So my point is that they're not organic. They're acting. Right? That's my point.
Well, you don't know that one way or another. You can't pinpoint that as, look, these are actors, unless you could show me where they got paid.
My point is they're acting. I don't care if they don't have an IMDb. They're acting the part for some reason. They don't care if they don't. I don't care if they have an IMDb account. I don't give a damn if I can't find them on IMDb. The point I'm making is, I don't have to be on IMDb to be acting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My point is that they're not honest. They're not being honest. They're not being organic. There's just something about them that isn't organic and not honest. And they're not the only ones. It seems to be a lot of them.
But if that's all they got fed, and where else are you going to go? Where else can they find? You tell me where they would find the Brian's Logic video outside of YouTube. How would they be able to pull that up? How would they be able to pull a flat earth debate video if they never heard of it?
A lot of people have searched for this topic and other topics online. This topic is the biggest one, obviously, but other topics as well. And when they search for, let's say they heard of Nathan's name or they want to check out Flat Earth, and all they're seeing is no end of Flat Earth supposed debunking videos from MC Town and this person, that person, and you know what I mean, Playing or Walk, and you name it, right? But they're seeing no end of these things, no end of podcasts like that.
I see where you're going.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on.
So you got to say at some point, why am I allowed to see? Yeah. Right. So you're saying at one point they got to say, wait a second, why am I only getting debunking videos of these guys? Why can't I get their videos and let me decide for myself? I see what you're saying.
Yeah, your decision is being made for you by the algorithm, and that especially like if you go back 5-6 years ago, I go fair enough up to a point. I give it more. I'd be going fair enough up to a point. Right, but since 2020, people have a lot less trust. And Generation X, which is basically what they're kind of part of, right, they have a lot less trust, right? So I just don't see how they can just go put in Flat Earth into Google or YouTube or whatever and get all this rubbish and go, oh, Professor Dave explains, blah, 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 and go, yeah, that solves that problem. No, nobody is happy with only one side. Everyone wants to get
that's
you really
true,
want to have both sides.
You're right, because when I look into a few things and I get debunking, okay, now let me see the other part of the debunking. Let me see what this guy had to say. It could be in anything. Could be in paleontology. But if you're only getting debunkings, there's something wrong, and they need to understand that and look into it deeper. I see what you're saying. I got your point. Yeah, you're right.
Well, see, this is not a situation where you have like a Joseph Stalin or something, right? Or an Adolf Hitler situation where people just believed the narrative or whatever it was about World War II because because it was a war and they were told this and that happened and they were the bad guys and blah 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 and we were the good guys, etc., etc., etc. This is a situation where there wasn't no war. This is a situation where, hang on a minute, I just want to check this out. Just give me some video where I get to see something, because a lot of these debunking videos, you're looking at them and like in today's world, because of the internet and because of YouTube and TikTok and all the rest of it, there's so much deception out there. And when I say deception, I'm not talking about, the evil Freemason. I'm talking about just your general person, right, who's putting out deceptive videos, who's making videos leaving out specific things that don't fit the narrative they're trying to push in the video, etc., 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 right? And people are used to that at this stage. So when they watch, if you watch, let's say, I suppose a flat out debunking video from, I don't know, MC Town or something, right? There's going to be parts on that, right? And if you watch that video and then there are 7 or 8 videos, there's going to be parts on those videos you're kind of going, but I didn't get to see what did he mean by that? Well, you're saying blah, 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 but you didn't show me this. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people would get frustrated because they're only getting told about how stupid we are and how blah, 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 blah. And sometimes some of these debunking videos will throw in, they think the earth is measured flat. It's only locally flat. If they're come across Simon and Dan's, like, we don't only measure the earth flat. It's like kind of thing, right? That Simon and Dan said. Right? People are going to go, hang on a minute. Right? If it's locally measured this way, and then, you know what I mean? People they're going to go, hang on, maybe the flat earthers may be wrong, but they may not be, like, I mean, this might be something that needs to be addressed. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
but these podcasters earlier, they didn't do that. They're just like, haha, it's all a big joke. It's like, I'm sorry, that's not organic.
Let's look at your debate with McToon, right in the beginning. If people are hip and people are aware, when he waves that in your face, you say straight out, those are flat earth elevation angle measurements, Toon. So an inquiring mind is going to say, whoa, what does that mean? And look into that a little deeper.
Well, if they ask Google what's an elevation angle, if they don't know it, or if a lot of people went to even just basic high school, and let's say American high school, they would know what that is. They would have come across it in geometry, in high school. The point being is that if they come up, this is the problem with the flat earth debunking videos. You have to really keep anything that's coherent, right, of any sort. You have to really not allow that in there, because you don't want the people watching the video asking questions. But sometimes when you keep so much of that out of there, the person just gets so little of an actual true view of it, they can't go, I want to see what this is. It's like it's becoming obvious. Like, you're not allowing me to see this.
So this may work out to their detriment then.
Well, those 2 guys I would say are just they're just acting. Those 2 or 3, I don't know how the 2 or 3 fellas, whatever.
Forget about those 2 guys. Let's talk about anybody.
Yeah.
So if anybody, your regular Joe Schmo, this may work against them by constantly giving them freaking debunking videos. Because that would annoy the hell out of me.
What you remind me of was, can you remember Mr. Anderson earlier in the year? Well, when he was faced with the elevation angle and the equatorial plane, the cognitive dissonance led him to say, well, obviously you're not stood at the equatorial plane, but it's your reference point. But obviously you're not there. So he's been able to work it back. Okay, I'm not actually using this as a reference, but I have to reference it. So that's okay in his mind. They'll find a way if they want to. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
Somewhat. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I understand. Sensual has a point that if you want to find a way, just find a way. But at that point, you're starting to become an anti-flat earther. Right? Most people won't become an anti-flat earther. Most people won't go, hang on a minute. If this is a measurement of this, and I'm supposed to believe that they're pretending they're measuring from the center of the earth. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, eventually, like, there's going to be people that will go, oh, that's good enough for me. Right? But I think when the facts are presented to people, and some, you know, things that, like, people would have seen that kind of diagram, right? Diagrams like would have showed an elevation angle on the top of a sphere, and then they're showing or an elevation angle from the center of the sphere or whatever throughout their lives. And they're going to go, hang on a minute, right? The penny's going to drop for people. It's like, how can they be measuring the surface if they're at the center, right? Just that alone is going to cut, and then they're going to be getting told about a tangent. They're going to go, well, but a tangent isn't the surface. Like, it's only like certain people will accept that the tangent, the measuring of the tangent, is somehow relevant, and they just stop thinking at that point because they can't think past that.
I think you're thinking with your mind again. Remember, you know this. You got this. You're part of this. You put out videos on this, so you're seeing through those eyes right now. You got to try to put yourself in a regular Joe Schmo, like when I put it to my son. When I put it to my son, he resisted.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is that how many people can accept that the measurement you're making on the surface is at the center? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, no, I'm literally measuring the surface here. Do you know what I mean? Or do you know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. How can someone be measuring a distance and doing this, that, and the other thing with elevation angles and horizontals and verticals? And at these distances, you know what I mean? It's only a matter of time. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Mr. Anderson was the living example in real time of what you're saying. He's someone who's managed to square that circle in a contradiction. But to him, it's satisfaction because he's still on a board at the end of the process.
Right. Because I had somebody come back and... Hold on. I had somebody come back and tell me that yeah, of course we use the center of the earth. But then we just transfer it to the surface. So everything's kosher. I mean, how do you say that with a clear conscience?
Well, how many people in school, in high school, right, in just the UK, Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Canada, just those countries, right, and the rest of Europe, maybe, right? But I'll use those countries because they're kind of I don't speak the languages of the other countries, but I can speak the language they speak in those countries. How many people were in high school in those countries? I can include Ireland up to a point. Were shown Eratosthenes measuring an elevation angle over a big horizontal.
7.
And then they were shown a globe.
No, 8.
I'm not looking for an exact figure. The point I'm making is
during puberty.
Puberty. The point I'm making is that when the penny drops for people, it really drops. They go, hang on a minute. I've been shown that. I remember that. And they kind of go, but that doesn't make any sense. And it's like when they start kind of go ask themselves, why are flat earthers thinking this? And they look at something like that, those diagrams, and they go, that doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? You just have to get someone to get to that point where they go, that doesn't make any sense, and look at it. And maybe 2 out of 10 of those people will go, it's okay to me, with me, I'm okay with measuring from the center of the globe, right? Whatever. And they don't want to learn about GP points and all the rest of the information, you know, that needs. But there's going to be a couple that will do that. But the majority of people will go, hang on a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, nowadays, I think they're more likely to go to the elevation angle, whereas 5 years ago, it was more likely to be the Earth curve calculator. Should I say?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, like the Earth curve calculator, that all, like, when someone looks at that, and even in today's world, if someone goes, like, last night, QE was talking about how he was standing on a rock, and he was seeing an island 80-something miles away. He was only 19 feet off the water. We see an island, another island in Hawaii, another one of the Hawaiian islands, 84 miles away. And he said he was looking at it, right? How many people will go, hang on a minute. I remember, like, how many times have I gone to that post? And we're constantly seeing blah, blah place. You know what I mean? They're going to say to themselves, I'm often seeing such and such a place. That's 25 miles away. And I'm always seeing it. And it's always there, unless it's like really cloudy. It's always there. So how am I seeing that? Do you know what I mean? Like, that is going to start going through people's, like people will start going, there's something wrong here. Maybe I'm being too positive and giving too much credit to what people will do, but in the past I could go, no, they won't. now with the younger generations. You had Chocolate's partner's kid a couple of years ago now. She was on 11 a couple of years ago. And she was a flat earther, and Chocolate didn't even know what about it. And she was having a thing with her teacher. It was like, oh, it's not a globe. How many of those, right, kids of her age back then and now, and the kids older than her back then who are now in their late teens, how many of them are going, nah, this is BS? It's happening. You're not going to have the boomers. I mean, Kiwi's a boomer, and yet he's the world's best flat earther. But most of the boomers are just pure boomers. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to have them. They grew up in the nuclear generation and NASA and moon landings. There's a lot of rubbish. Most of them won't. But the younger generations, they're unstoppable. It's only a matter of time before we are the absolute winners of this. If you want to call it a win.
Yeah, that's why they got to come out with aliens. They got to
they didn't even need the moon landings for the new generation to believe it. Like, the new generation is more delusional than anything.
I was going to say, my granddad will...
Not the inquiring.
Well, the new generation, they're more delusional in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, they're not either. Like, the programming that boomers had to face on the, heels of World War II and all that, and, I think Brian just said, living in the nuclear age where they had to, do, their little drills and get under their desk,
right, now
they were brainwashed as bad as anybody.
Now, versus you having to be in a cult, have your parents tell you that was, what your line or your lineage did. So you got to go to this specific place to do this specific training, to be this specific person in this specific cult, versus getting on the internet and joining whatever cult you want and thinking however you want to think.
Yep. That's true. Especially on Discord, where you could argue about having hands or not.
Ridiculous.
But see, my friend's son, my friend Neil was a flat earther years back, and he never said anything to me about it, but he admitted, right? But I knew that he thought it was going to be a joke. His son, right, who lives with these estranged ex-partners, his son, when he was 14, said, "No, Dad, the earth is flat." And he started listening to his own son. And then he said to me, kind of listen to, my son or whatever. And I didn't really take you serious when you were saying stuff years ago. So you had, and now that was a couple of years ago. So his son is now 18. Right, so that's 4 years ago. Now his son is a flat earther still, and he's 18. Or I think it is. I don't know what but he's at more than 14 anyways. That's a few years ahead. The point I'm making is, the amount of us 10 years ago, in comparison to the amount of us that's going to be here in 10 years' time, is going to be phenomenally different.
It is already, Brian.
Look at Brazil.
Listen, remember the kids I talked to when I was doing that job in Jersey? That was what? That had to be about 4 years ago. And I was working in the basement. It was two young kids, teenagers. And they were here when I was listening to it. And I said, what do you guys think? You still think he's on a spinning water ball? Like, are you crazy? The earth is flat. We know that. And they said it so casual, like the world knew it, So
that's what I'm saying. So they've taken out the defiance, because where's the defiance? Before COVID happened, there were kids, going to school, the teacher brings up gravity. It's like, okay, what's that? Like, they was on point. They were on point. Now, post COVID, even though there's this laissez-faire idea about it, oh yes, we know, whatever. Where are the consequences? Where are the students that are well, hold on, you're trying to teach me this, but I know this is BS. That's what kids do. Where is that? That's not happening. Something's wrong, because kids are the most disrespectful motherfuckers on the planet.
Yeah, but you almost slipped. You almost slipped. You almost pulled it out of me in there. But listen,
He almost he's
I did, and then I tried to play it off. That's true.
Listen, it's up to the parents, though. The parents got to know because they are the ones that should be going to the school. Just like if your child came home and started telling you that 2 + 2 is now 5, you would go to the school raising hell, right? So why are they allowed to get away with what they're getting away with when their kids are coming home and talking about gravity? Out of date gravity, right? They should be raising hell.
Sleeping Warriors on the case. Give them a chance.
Well, you know something that's taken a little too long. This is 10 years in the making now. Schools should have been uprooted already. There should be parents there demanding, why have you been teaching our children and me that I'm on a spinning Wally ball orbiting in space somewhere? You got me thinking soil's in the sky. There's no outrage. And I can't even do that because my kids are homeschooled.
Yeah, but Neil, let's just say your oldest lad, like he's going to go against you no matter what you say. He'll be a bowler just to spite you. Do you know what I mean? Because he's going against his father. You could find out in years to come, I knew it was flat or nose again. I just wanted to be awkward. Do you know what I mean? All the sons want to go against their father. That's what they want to do. You know,
I know why. I'm such a good dad, too. I mean, my father was 60. I mean, I got punished for
human
nothing.
nature.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is human nature. But when you do a demonstration like I did on a flat table, making believe a plane was taking off and leveling off, and then he turns around and starts talking about 2 points in the sky, that's the problem.
Oh, boy. 2 points in the sky, like what?
2 different rotations. And then hearing Flat Earth is saying, yeah, of course there is. Then turn around and say, well, you were saying
it last night, bro.
That's the problem.
Like, that's what I thought was so funny, man. Like AI started lambasting me. He goes, why are you saying that we're saying that there's 2 points of rotation in the sky? And then 30 seconds later says that there's an infinite amount of pole stars.
Who said that? You got the video since you've learned to not come somewhere
AI
saying
said it
something
last night. I don't understand why you think it's a weird
AI doesn't count. AI doesn't count. He's an odd one sometimes, and he usually has an agenda, a point as to why he's going down his line of reasoning. Believe it or not. But okay, so I'll put AI to this. Is that the only person? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm pretty sure. I had this conversation. I'm pretty sure.
Keep dog.
He's lying on people. So I'm just saying. Did we figure that out yet, Neil?
That's a bit of a cop-out, dude.
We just gonna let him keep doing it without trying to figure it out?
Well, I want to, but then I hear things like
you want to, but you want to feed into his bullshit.
No. They hear me out. I want to, and then I hear the nonsense I heard from freaking Indio and then freaking Miggy arguing the logic of having hands. So it makes me wonder. And then
what
I
are you
heard the
talking
guy
about?
Neil,
What's wrong with having hands? Like it's a very simple. Like you guys got to stop being so critical. Because QE, where you at? Like, you got to have your own brain, bro. Listen,
Miggy
I understand. Listen, I told Miggy that the debate was trash because at the end of the day, nobody walked away knowing our position.
Thank you. That's my point.
That being said, I'm not going to downplay the fact that You don't need to scientifically validate that you have hands. You don't need to make a logical argument as to whether or not you have hands. Touching somebody on the shoulder is a demonstration of you having hands. That's literally all you need. Somebody arguing against that is a retard. There's nothing wrong with
He fell for the bait. He fell for the bait.
Problem
and was
is,
prove it logically.
they put the scientific method was absolutely butchered by Indio. And then the whole rest of the conversation was literally almost 2 hours of discussing whether that ponytail guy, in fact, has hands or not. That's some trash flat earth work right there, dude. They're not that good. I'm sorry, but they're not that good over there.
Yeah, but what you just said is not true. Indio didn't trash the scientific method.
The other guy did.
The other guy did, and he agreed to it. That's what happened there. So Indio didn't say they didn't lay out the scientific method incorrectly. The other guy laid out a lot of rubbish, and Indio agreed to it.
What happened today when I think it was 3 times on that video, these two numpties tried to, use science, and Nathan had to stop and break down what science is and what it isn't. And it took 30 seconds the last time. So Flatsy's saying it takes a long time, and that's baloney. All right?
Yeah, that is bullshit. It's very, like I said, I'm not defending him on the science part. I'm saying, look at how we're talking about this as a way to not validate what Vaxie said in the first place. Let's stop the bullshit.
No, I brought it up because that's what my son says.
I know.
And Vaxie said this happened to me last night.
I know. Like, that's part of the problem.
Can I say something to Neil? Neil, there is 2 points in the sky. But what they are, nobody bloody knows. So don't go proclaiming there isn't, because there is 2 different points in the sky that appears to have a rotation around them. Yeah.
There we go.
So what? What? So what?
That's
what
the point.
But that's his affirmation that you're on a ball.
No, it's who's affirmation? No,
my son's.
The arguing against seeing. Look, listen. You're not making any claim other than unless you're describing something you're seeing. If you don't go beyond seeing it and describing it, and if you don't start trying to explain it, then there's nothing else to say, which is my point with Vaxwax. I'm like, okay, we see this, that's it. And then he tries to force people to take a position that they won't take. I don't know. That sounds just like what we've been dealing with the Glovers, but I don't know. You guys want to be superstars and the main, most sharpened swords, and you forget the main tactics that ballers play. I don't get the shit.
You're claiming Vaxie has baller tactics? Wow.
No, that's nice.
Well, I just laid it out for you. I just laid it out for you. When Witsit has baller tactics, you have no problem seeing it. You see how the dust is in front of your, because when it's someone else you don't like, you can easily see it. But when it's someone that you're not trying to, you can't see it. That's weird. It's not weird. It's natural.
2 separate rotations in this. Sorry. Anyway.
Hang on.
When you're looking south.
I have to respond to Eli. 1 second. Eli.
That's fine.
I would say that, Vaxie, you have a tendency to say things that someone said this or someone said that. And you either misrepresent them, right? Or you're not producing the evidence that they said this exact thing. So that's a bit problematic. Now, that doesn't mean you're a baller, right? And what I would say, Eli,
it means that those are baller tactics. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because they are.
I'd agree that they are. That's the thing that ballers tend to do.
That's all. I'm not saying he is a baller. I'm just trying to.
How could Vaxie produce it when they erased it? He went looking for it today, and it's mysteriously gone.
Oh, no, it's there. It's just there's 2 hours worth of... Okay, because originally, I popped into the 24/7. There was only one dude in there, and his name was Lats. So there was one guy in the 24/7 Discord by himself. So I popped in, and I said, "Hey, are you by chance a mod?" And he goes, "No, but I'm tight with them." I said, "Can I get allowed back into the to the English hub?" And he said, yeah, that's no problem. I'm pulling into my driveway. I'm like, okay, no, there's no rush, bro. It's not an emergency. So he said he messaged them, and then while I was waiting to find out if I was going to be allowed back in, I just kind of sat in there, and that's when the room started filling up, like just organically. Like I think someone saw me in there, so somebody else popped in, and then there was 5 people, then there was 20 people, and we were talking for a good 15 minutes. AI came in and started screaming at me about how I'm claiming that 24/7 is claiming 2 celestial poles with 2 pole stars, Polaris and Sigma Octantis. And so that went
Of
on
course he'd
for
be mad
about
for you saying that because you
that went
have.
on. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did say that. I said that multiple times last night too. That it is their claim,
So
and
why would he be mad
nobody
at you?
disagreed.
Why would he be mad about you
Nobody.
misrepresenting if you're not misrepresenting? Because you told us to ask them. You told us they would tell us that.
Well, you know what's
Because that's their position.
funny, Eli. If I'm like, he was upset that I was. What he said was I painted everybody that's associated with 24/7 with the same brush, which is fair because there's a lot of people in there, and I guarantee. Yeah,
That's what I've been
which
saying
was
to you.
fair criticism, and I guess I was doing that. I wasn't. When I said 24/7, everyone in 24/7 believes that there's 2 pole stars. I'm not saying every single individual believes that. I mean, I should have chose my words a little better, which is fair. But a good majority do, and the ones that have the most airtime, the ones that are allowed to talk the most, do push that.
Yeah, that's not true. So you went from
Well, how come?
all to okay,
You
it's
know
not
what's
all
funny,
but
Eli?
most. That's still not true.
Heretic
Here's
didn't
my
disagree with there
response
being multiple pole
without
stars.
you talking through it. Here's my response without you talking through it. So again, you went from
You
all
mumbled
to
through
most.
everything I was just saying a minute ago.
All right,
Eli.
so I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna keep trying until I'm successful. So you started with all to maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay, most. You're still being vague. The only names that you did bring up, those people are saying that you're lying. So what are we talking about? You keep switching it all to most. Okay, what most? Most
Eli.
who? Most what names?
Eli.
Who?
Yeah, I'll
Do
tell
you
you in a
have the
second. I was
video?
in there
Okay, get
last
the
night.
video. You said there's a video. It's just too long. Well, it's been 2 weeks. You should have got it by now. Because why are you opening your mouth to talk about something that you don't have
I haven't
validation
dug through
for
any video
for 2
personally.
weeks?
Well, see, that's the other thing that AI brought up last night. He started screaming about how he had to send all these videos to Neil, and then I'm not 100%, but I was pretty sure you said, Neil, let me get those. So I'm assuming you guys corresponded with each other, and Neil sent you the same videos that AI sent him. Did you look through them?
No.
No. Okay. So you asked for them, but you didn't look through them. Whereas I haven't even
No, I
received
did.
them, so I
No,
haven't had a chance
I
to
didn't
dig
ask.
through them.
I didn't ask for a whole fucking video. I asked for you to produce specifically where people have said what you said they said. That's what I asked for. And then I asked you to fucking post
Right,
the whole live stream.
And then what did Neil do? Neil took it on himself to go message
You just
AI
asked me a question. What is
and
what
get
Neil
the
did
videos, correct?
have to do with your question to me?
Well, that's what
You asked
happened,
me-
right? AI sent Neil a whole bunch of videos from the time period that's in discussion, which was around the holidays.
And so why are you still talking about it if no one's dug it up to find that what you said was actually true?
Well, the thing is, Eli, like this whole thing that happened was around the last holiday season. It's coming up pretty
Why
close
are
to a
you
calendar
talking
year
about
now.
it if you didn't have time to go look and validate what you were saying?
Hey, listen,
why are you talking about it?
Listen, Eli, the whole FED show was gone for a good chunk of the summer. And the very first day that we popped back in, you're the one that brought it back up.
Why am I hearing about? I want to be on FED
because
talking
it
about
came out of your
FED stuff.
face.
The only reason, look,
those
the only
words
reason we're
fell
talking.
out of your mouth.
Hello.
Yeah,
Who else
hi.
is
Can you
around?
hear me?
If it's just me and Bax, I can leave. Is anybody else around? Is this still a show?
That just point out what happened last night on the video with you and AI.
No, I was still talking. You're part of the problem, Neil, when you do that. I literally was trying to talk for the last 60 seconds. You didn't step in to say, Baxi, why are you doing that? Stop
because
it.
she's going do-si-do, and all he's got to do is present what happened last night.
What does last night have to do with what he said about people? Exactly. So again, how is he going to validate what he's been telling you?
Again,
you're not helping me get to that point, but you're allowing him to keep running his fucking mouth while I'm talking with actually nothing to produce.
You're not saying anything with substance.
I don't need
you're
substance
just upset and talking
because
loud.
I'm not the one that came with the claim.
Let me moderate this. Eli, what is it you're asking for specifically?
Him to stop talking shit unless he can back it up.
No, specifically. That's a general.
Okay. Specifically, he just brought up 24/7, and I challenged him, and he walked it back. So stop saying shit about 24/7 unless you can back it up. That's my point.
Right?
Because every day,
Eli,
every show, I'm gonna go, okay, did that happen? And we're gonna keep doing that.
Okay, 1 second, Baxi. Okay, but Eli, it's just something that you would like him to specifically produce now that would validate, that would be in validation of what he has said. Is there something he would be
Brian,
that he could produce now?
you've literally been a part of the conversation where he lied and then said, tell me where I lied. And then I told him what the conversation that I and him was just in. That is so you pissing me off right now, Brian.
Well,
trying to make this.
I'm not doing that. I'm trying to. You were asking for moderation, but that's what I thought you were asking for. I came in to try and moderate.
Moderation is because I want him to shut up when I'm making a statement. That's what I wanted. To talk with him not talking while I'm talking. That was it.
Well,
so you like to talk a lot.
So my point beyond.
I'm not Nathan.
So my point beyond that is, unless he has some kind of validation to come with whatever the reason he's bringing up 24/7, why are we talking about it? All he does, if you pay attention, is complain about 24/7.
Yeah, I know that. I've noticed that.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Okay, I don't want to be a part of I'm not in 24/7. I'm in FED right now. I don't want to hear him crying.
Yeah, actually, I have noticed, and I've had to kind of subtly kind of change direction. Is that a few times where you do tend to go back to giving out about all those people over on 24/7. Now, if you're going to have to show, you're going to have to come with actual audio that proves what you were saying if you have something to say. Otherwise, don't go, like what the Eli point is he doesn't want to be hearing about you saying they all did this or they all did that over on 24/7. That's Eli's point.
That's totally reasonable. I get that. It put me in a tough position because last week when this all got brought up again, like this is something that like hasn't crossed my mind in literally like over half a calendar year.
Hang on,
like the holidays were a long ass time ago. I haven't
stirring something with a spoon.
Of course, it's Eli.
Yeah. Please stop that. Go on.
Is that what that clanking is? No, when all this got resurfaced again last week when the show returned, I was kind of put on the spot because like Eli started charging me with this nonsense about my issues with 24/7, and then it's like, okay, so stuff was said 10 months ago.
It started with that
on Discord.
Tell him, Brian, that it didn't start with Eli picking with him. It started with him, and then Eli responded.
Yeah, you were.
Well, no, we were talking about something that wasn't even related to 24/7. You just happened to hear my voice and started calling me you started accusing me of lying, and then it came back to like what happened during the holiday season. But the thing is, Eli, the exact same argument that was taking place during the holiday season took place again last night with AI and Heretic and Sheepdog and Majin and all these other dudes that were in the server last night.
Why are we talking about it, though? Why are we talking about it? Why are we talking about it? Are you going to do a treatment like QE or something?
AI came in. You're mumbling through me, dude.
Hey guys, this is FED. I'm done.
All right,
unless he's going to do a treatment,
substance to say.
unless he's going to do a treatment or something, Like, you see how he shuts up when I shut up? Like, it's only when I'm talking. He has to like a Glover.
You just did that to me, you clown.
You're both doing it to each other. Like I say, if it gets too bad, I will step in. But at the moment, you are both doing it to each other to a certain degree. It's just the way it goes.
Well, I'm responding to him,
true.
but he's not responding to me. That's the only difference.
Okay, 1 second. Hold proceedings, actually. Eli, I asked you what you wanted a few minutes ago specifically, and you said that you wanted.
And I told him, okay, I gave you the answer, Brian.
I just wanted to relay to you to make sure that you're happy with this. So you said
no, but he just did what I didn't want him to do. He just did what I didn't want him to do.
Hang on, I'm trying to moderate. So you said that you wanted him to stop talking about what's happening over on 24/7 and giving out and crying about it, right? That's what you said. Is that correct?
Unless he can put it into some sort of coherent, this is what they said, this is what I'm saying. They said, here's the proof, there you go. Ain't nothing I can say about that.
Well, but that's not what you said a minute ago. When I asked you to be specific,
I don't care. Listen. Oh my God, Brian. However, I didn't need to be specific because he still did the thing that I told him not to do. I don't want to hear about it. This is FED. What did he do? Begin starting to talk about what happened yesterday.
Yeah. All right. Yes. What I needed from you, actually, 1 second. What I needed from you, Eli, was for you to say you wanted him to stop talking about what's happening over on 24/7 or whatever, and if he's going to talk about it, to produce the evidence, produce the receipts.
I thought that was obvious.
Well, you didn't have that in. I'm asking you what.
I've been saying that for 2 weeks, Brian. What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter what you're saying for 2 weeks. I asked you there and then to be specific, and I asked you 2, maybe 3 times. Now, you didn't add in that second caveat. So, Baxi, what Eli needs you to do, right, and I would like you to do it, is that if you're going to say that this, that, or the other thing was said to you or about whatever topic on 24/7 or any of these servers, then you're going to have to get the audio and present it. You're going to have to present the evidence, the text, the audio, something. You know what I mean? You're going to have to. Otherwise, you can't keep saying they're saying this or they're saying that, because it's not fair.
Yeah, no, okay. Totally reasonable and valid. I sent Eli 10 screenshots and the recording from last night. But as I was saying, when I was in the server by myself and people started coming back in, me and AI were going at it for about 15, 20 minutes. Okay. And then after that, so I said, I asked him. I said,
hang on, Eli. Have you got some audio to present then that we would listen to that would corroborate what you're saying?
Yeah, well, that's the whole point I'm making now. Me and AI had a 25, 15-minute back and forth.
Have you got it?
Let the guy finish.
The answer is yes or no, Neil. Has he got it?
Yeah, it's a simple yes or no. Have you got it, or can you get it?
I don't believe so. I thought I had it, and I sent it to Eli in a direct message. I sent him the live stream from last night, and you can hear AI mentioning my name, but I stay muted for the rest of the time, and then I leave. But the thing is, when me and AI had a back and forth for 20 minutes, and I said, I wish this was being recorded. And then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, the YouTube bot popped in. He goes, hey, look, Vax, you got your wish. Now it's being recorded. The only thing is, and I don't know what happened.
The point where
that came in, recorded. There's no audio. It's literally silent for about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
So that means shut the fuck up, right? So that means shut the fuck up, right? Because you don't have shit.
I sent it to you. In a DM last night, Eli.
Vax.
And I think I called you a gaslighting douchebag or something, too, which I apologize for.
Vaxi, listen to me a second. Do you have the 20 minutes where you and AI were talking?
I don't believe it's there. I looked for it. I'll try to look for it again and see. Like I said, I thought I had it. I had from when the YouTube bot popped in.
So what did you send to me then? So what did you send to me then?
Yeah, hang on, Eda. Hang on, before we get
the recording from last night.
Do you have that 20 minutes? It's not a belief, so it's either you do or you don't. Is that on the recording you sent to Eli?
I wasn't able. When I sent it to Eli,
yes or no?
I sent it to him.
Yes or no?
Yeah, I sent it to Eli. I sent the recording from the same time period as last night to Eli. And then about 20 minutes later, I'm like, well, let me go back to it and listen to it again. I started listening to it, and there's no audio for like an hour and a half around the time period I was in there. It's all silent, and there's no avatars popping up when people talk.
You're not answering the question, Baxi. Right? I asked you, do you have the audio? And if so, is it on the audio you sent? If you do have,
it's not on there.
You sent it?
I don't believe it's on there. No.
So I don't care about what you believe.
Live stream.
We don't want to hear the word believe. We want yeses or no's. If you don't have it, then you can't say this, that, and the other thing happened.
Right.
If you have other people who are willing to come in and say, yes, that's what happened. If you're really interested in, you'll have to go and do something about it. If, you know what I mean? Otherwise,
there's a simple solution to all this. All I have to do.
Look at what he sent me. He literally sent me what I'm accusing him of doing, which is inciting violence, arguments, whatever you call it. Like he literally sent me the screenshots.
I did.
I told you that. Look, listen to this, right? I'm gonna read this out. So Vaxwax says to Kiwi Buzz, so how many pole stars? I see one every night. It's called Polaris. And then Kiwi says, you're the one claiming a pole star. If it wasn't for you mentioning it, I would never think of the sky like that. That's now the sky I see at night. So he says, so Vaxwax responds to him by saying, they won't say it. You won't either. So he's saying that we won't say what he's strawmanning us with. To argue against, like I've been telling y'all.
Oh Lord! So there's a simple solution. I can just go into 24/7 right now, and the same shit will happen last night, and then you guys can hear it for yourself.
Hang on, what is your main claim concerning 24/7? What is it you're claiming is happening concerning this topic and 24/7 and you?
They're rude to me. They don't like me because I'm from over here.
I don't care about feelings.
No, I just think
what is the claim? What is it about
it's not
this
all
topic?
of them. Just some of them are jerks over there. So what?
It's just not. You're not allowing this to happen. What is it you're claiming?
You see how it's not just me and he can't play you off of me. So now that it's me and you, he's getting sillier. Just like a global. You see that?
In between. I'm trying to mediate.
I'm taking this super serious.
Give me a second. What is it? What is it about this topic that you're claiming people in 24/7 have been saying, and why are they disagreeing with you? What is the thing? I want to know the exact thing.
They claim that there's two celestial poles and 2 points of rotation.
Okay,
and
can you produce evidence? Okay, that's great.
It's simple.
They're claiming and you have an issue with that. So can you produce audio, written words, something that people have been saying that in there? The people you're claiming have said.
No, I need to go back to the video that I sent. The video that I sent. The video that I sent.
Can you produce that?
I'm going to go through the video that I sent Eli last night. Maybe it's in there. Maybe I was in the wrong part of the video.
I don't want to hear about
I'll double check and see if it is in there.
Right. I want you to produce.
There's no reason why it should be because the YouTube bot was recording. And AI goes, hey, look, Bash, you got your wish. We're live now.
I don't want to hear about YouTube bots. I want you to produce evidence. I don't care if it's from this week. I don't care if it's from 5 weeks ago. Produce evidence that people have been saying what you're claiming. People in 24/7 have been saying what you're claiming they're saying. Because Eli is saying they're not saying those things.
Okay,
which is strange. I don't understand why, because they were saying it last night.
Nathan, I'll step off if you want me to.
I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
I don't know. You never got to the point. You just never let him get to the point where he's able to tell somebody something because he doesn't have the video. I come in with issues with people all the time. I'm never asked to produce video. He had a conversation last night, and you're not allowing him.
Neil, you're only here. So when something happens between you and someone, we're there to see it. What are you talking? It's the difference between us seeing what you.
Wait a second. The only reason it was there for anybody to see is because QE dug it out. I didn't dig it out.
Oh my God.
But nobody. Hold on. Nobody.
So if QE found something to judge, then we have seen it. Then. So nobody has to ask you.
No, but when I brought it up, I wasn't asked. The QE came out with it weeks after. I brought it up the day after it happened.
Okay, maybe no one cared because you didn't keep bringing it up every show. Maybe that's why.
I don't know. You didn't allow him to speak, and the guy can't defend himself. What do you want to do?
All right, Neil,
if the evidence. Go on, Eli.
I'll take you through that video again. Like I said, because even AI said out loud, he goes, well,
like that,
you got your wish, we're recording now. So when I'm like, okay, great. So I grabbed the video, sent it to Eli. I went back to listen to it later, and the part where we should be discussing, the part where
you're talking straight through him.
What?
Because he's doing exactly what Eli's accusing them of.
Well, y'all are acting like he's trying to make a point. He's been saying the same thing for 2 weeks, and it's empty, vapid, void. It doesn't matter how much time you give him to talk. He's just going to keep saying the same thing.
When somebody says there's infinite holes, that's a problem.
Eli, we will go over there right now.
I wasn't saying it.
Come with me. Don't be afraid.
No, actually, the answer isn't for someone here to go with you over onto the Discord server. The answer is for you to get the audio of people saying what you're saying they've been saying and present it here to support you saying they've been saying it. It's that simple. You have to do those things. You can't just be hearsay. Eli's point is that you give out a lot about this, but you don't produce. You're not producing the audio or written word that supports you.
Valid.
So if it's true, that should be there.
It's very annoying to me, Brian. Trust me. Like I said, I'm going to try to get this sentence out. After about a 20-minute back and forth with AI, the YouTube bot popped in. You guys know what it looks like. It's a white square, and it's got YouTube.
That means you don't have the evidence of your interaction with AI.
I would like to hear it.
Oh, Lord.
Neil, it means he doesn't have that evidence.
Every time I get to the same part, and then I get interrupted. I'm really not trying to be an ass, but geez. The YouTube bot popped in. AI says...
I don't think this is leading anywhere because you're just going to say the same thing again and not produce...
Which is
this
why.
Is something that didn't happen hang on, Taxi. This is something that didn't start last night. This is something that's going on for some time with you. Weeks. Maybe a couple of months.
Yeah, almost a calendar year ago.
What?
I literally haven't been in 24/7 in like over half a year.
Another red herring. But you're the only one bringing them up.
Nothing. I'm sorry now, but you're not producing anything. You're just saying things and a bit the same story of same story of war, but you're not producing. Go on, Nathan. Sorry.
Look,
did you step in, Nathan?
No. When the YouTube bot popped in, AI goes, "Look, Vax, you got your wish. We're recording now." I said, "Wonderful." I went on YouTube. I grabbed their live recording that was going and immediately sent it to Eli. When I went back to review it about an hour after the fact, where me and AI were talking, was all silence.
So the bot popped in. He then said, "Now you got your wish." You at that moment took the live stream, sent it to me, knowing that the bot just got there. Are you retarded?
Yeah, it couldn't be. I mean,
considering it's a live stream, Eli, the conversation was going to continue
you know what I mean?
On the same path that it was about the same topic. So I sent you the live stream that was relevant to where I was. Yes.
Yeah, but they weren't recording when you were talking to AI. When you were talking to AI Overlord, they weren't recording. So what's the purpose of this story? Get a recording.
The part that was recorded was the part where AI told me.
Vaccine. You can't have all these issues with all these different people and say you're saying this, that, and the other thing, and not be able to produce something, written word, audio, something must be produced. Come on, like. If it happens in today's world on a Discord server, something was recorded or written somewhere.
After what I heard last night, you don't have to produce anything. I'll believe anything he says they say over there. Bunch of freaking retards.
Thank you, Neil.
Except for you, Eli.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna shut up because I'm not about to say anything nice about you.
Hey,
I
Eli,
excluded you.
are you going to be in
I said
24/7
except
in the
for
next
you,
few
Eli.
minutes?
Hold on.
No, because what Vax is gonna have me, what Vax is gonna have me do is say something to you that I don't mean, and that's the point. Because that's what he does over there. Get
Why?
people to argue, and that's what he's gonna do over here. But look. The thing that you hate, Neil, like I'm gonna let you love it right now. Love it.
Hold on. When I said
I hope
everybody
you
over
get
there
your
is a
just
bunch of
desserts.
numpties, freaking retards, except for Eli, what's the problem there?
Because you're disrespecting a lot of people that have been family to me just as long as you have. Because everybody over there, other than
that's the issue, Eli. You're making something personal when
Do you know whether or not you were listening to the English Hub?
Everyone, shush.
Do you know if you were listening to the English Hub politics? Or do you know who you were listening to? To paint it with a large brush, everybody over there except for Eli is a retard. Do you know what stream they were on?
I didn't say you were a retard. What are you talking about?
Look, he's
Neil,
just as
shush.
bad as. Oh, God.
If I may, Eli, what he's saying is, Neil, what Eli is saying is, your broad brush, even though you excluded Elijah, still disrespected people who are not should be included in your retard.
I don't give a shit. Mickey robbed me for $1,000. Did you know that? Take my back on that, Eli?
Then he's a retard.
No,
Then he's a retard. But you can't. Did you get the point? You can't say all Italians are this,
They
all
like
blacks are
family
this.
to you too, Eli? Mickey like family to you? Well, you raped me for $1,000.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he freaking did. He could have came in and let me know at any time Neil was selling a coin. Nothing. Silence. Everybody got out but me.
So that means everyone else. That means so because of Miggy, that means everyone else, like I said, that are my family. Flatsy, Flatsy comes from there, right? You know what I mean?
One of us.
I gave her the FED flavor before she came over here. Because where else would she have got it from? From you? Where you at? Yeah, 24/7 got that really FED flavor because of people like me.
Okay, go ahead, Vaxie.
How you gonna shit on them? The other people that are doing just as good work as us. How you gonna shit on them, Neil?
Show me.
I disagree with that.
Show me them doing good work.
I will.
3 hours of nonsense last night about not having hands. Really?
Okay, I will.
They're doing good work. Wow. Maybe when you're there, Eli, I don't doubt that.
Eli, I was told that to get your latitude while using the sky, you have to use the celestial equator. They're just wrong about stuff. It's nothing personal. I'm wrong about things all the time. In fact, when I said it was Jedi that was saying 2 celestial poles, I was 100% wrong, and I apologized to him just the other day. I thought Jedi was an Australian kid. I was dead wrong. I got him mixed up. It happens, especially when the conversations are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of days ago. I'm wrong. I'm wrong 1,000 times a day, and I'll be wrong 1,000 times a day till I die. It happens. I'm wrong a lot. There's no malice behind it. You're just taking things way too personal. Like I said, dude, I was literally told infinite amount of pulsars last night. I give the name, and it's quite obvious that the person will say it again. But then once I bring that proof, oh, well, that's AI. He doesn't count. He's weird. Which is fair, and I agree. But still, Heretic didn't disagree with them. And that may be fallacious. Like, just because someone doesn't speak up means they automatically agree. But it is telling that nobody was correcting anybody, or nobody was, trying to unmuddy those waters. And I'm sorry that this got brought up again, but it just literally happened last night. It is what it is.
Vaxie, you saying you're wrong 1,000 times a day doesn't really lead me to have much confidence in that you're saying. Do you know what I mean? I'm not wrong 1,000 times a day. I'm wrong now and again.
No, not literally 1,000 times a day. No, but I tend to be incorrect about things quite often. I'm a dude. I'm just a human, man. I get things incorrect quite frequently. It
You all
happens to
heard
all
it.
of us. It happens to
You
you
all
too,
heard
my
it.
friend.
Brian's wrong now, and he'll be wrong again.
Literally, the only person that's never wrong is Nathan. Like, come on.
Right.
I mean, the thing is that
Everyone stop a second.
to simplify all this, all I gotta do is go to 24/7. You guys can come with me, and I'll just introduce the conversation again. So,
Hello? Are you deaf? Can you acknowledge what Eli's laid out? He's getting quite emotional about it, and you've not acknowledged what he said, Vaxi. He's getting annoyed that you're basically seemingly making up stuff because you're not evidencing it, and you're continuing to do it, and you're not acknowledging him getting annoyed with you over it either. You're not acknowledging him. Despite how annoyed he's getting, you're not acknowledging it. The only time you did hear him say it unimpeded, you laughed at him.
yeah, that's my bad. But I'm not making it up, though. I just don't happen to have the recordings from Christmas time. I guess I could go and look through them. I don't know. It's just, you know what it is? It's stuff I haven't thought about up until like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Like, it wasn't even anything in my mind. The problem, like I said, the simple solution would be for me to just go over there and just redo what I did last night. If I pop into 24/7, the subject will get brought up again, and then it just is what it is. Actually, not that hard to settle.
You're doing what Eli has been accusing you of. You're back to doing it again, talking about what's happening to you over on 24/7. But I'll be honest with you, you haven't produced anything at any time to support that this person said this to you or that person said that to you. You produced audio last week, and the part that you were supposed to, that we were supposed to be hearing, something to do with gravity, that part wasn't there. We didn't hear it anymore. We looked through it. Yeah, like QE spent a bit of time going through it. So I don't know if that part exists, but you didn't produce it. And you were the one saying this person said this or this person said that. So you have to produce the receipts. That's the arena we're in.
Well, yeah, the video that QE was like, he spent a lot of time, like a lot of effort into trying to find it. Like, we were right around the area. But it's like needle in a haystack.
He knows how to carry the conversation of bullshittery further down the road. He knows how to do it.
Worth of audio.
Like you give him a point blank point, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right." He looked through that video nice and long, and I don't know, like how does he do? How do y'all not see him doing that?
I do see him do that. It just doesn't irk me as much as you, because I'm not on Discord. I wasn't spending as much time on Discord. And other people noticing it.
It is pretty annoying.
Yeah, but he's in here being disruptive, and you don't see what the disruption is or the level of disruption because you have it. No, you said it doesn't hurt. You said it doesn't hurt you as much. I'm trying to respond to you, trying to stop me from talking because you're making a point. But this is important. You said it doesn't hurt you as much as it hurts me, and my response to you is because he's being the same kind of deceptive here, but you just haven't experienced it.
I said it doesn't.
I haven't been deceptive about anything. Because now we're like the subject's changed. Right now we're talking about the whole gravity thing and how you can't say that the vacuum of space violates technical thermodynamics because the glober's going to claim gravity and that's why the gas doesn't fuck off.
You see what he can't
vacuum.
say shit like that. I know he can't. That's what I'm talking about.
That's literally what we're talking about, right? That's what QE was trying to find. Eli, why are you shocked that they would say something like that?
That's the opposite of how we argue. As poor as you may think, 24/7. I don't care what you think. That right there is one of the things people would not get effed up. That's one. If there's nothing else, there's no way anybody would be saying what he's saying they said. There's no way. I'm there too much.
The man hasn't said a word. I listened to that last week with QE for over an hour, and it's just like a wild goose chase. The man says nothing. absolutely nothing. Oh, the evidence is here, the evidence is out. I'm telling you, he has nothing. He's an annoying twat.
Yeah, Vassy. Now, Eli, please don't jump in here because you ruined your own point a minute ago, and it's about the third time you've done it in the past 25 minutes. Vaccine. When I started saying about the video you produced the other day, not having the audio on it, that you were claiming someone that had said about gravity or whatever, you said, yeah, QE look through the video, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Nobody cares. It's your responsibility. You're making the claim, so it's your responsibility to find that piece of audio or that written word. And if you're not doing that, then you can't be making the claims. End of story. We don't want to hear about it unless you're producing the receipts. It's that simple. Now, Eli, I'm sorry, but when you jumped in there, that was the point you were stopping.
Okay. Yeah, my brother told me he robbed a bank.
Stop.
Oh, but I didn't regret saying that, so I can't tell anyone that he told me that.
Vaxi, please acknowledge what he said. He's broke it down so beautifully.
Yeah, you're right. It's just...
You need receipts.
Sure, fair. Now, if we're talking about what India was saying about gravity, it was literally alluded to with the other guy who I thought was a...
We hear about it. We wanted to get...
Because when I was talking... Yeah, because when I was talking to the guy who I thought was a flat earther who turned out to be a LARPer, which I didn't know,
to hear about the story.
I even said to him, I said, hey, they want you to say gravity so you can stump me.
No, I don't care.
Jeez.
Producers say, I have audio here, this is what's on it, and then play it to support what you're saying. Otherwise, there's no more need for the stories about 24/7. We don't need to be hearing it. You have to produce.
Whatever
it's just hearsay.
No, whatever happens between me and other people on 24/7, I don't have to bring it up unless it gets brought up or if it's relevant to something. But
no, you don't bring it up and be saying what you're saying, because this is what's annoying Eli. For a good while now, you're bringing problems you're having with 24/7 here, and you're not producing any evidence to support it.
But he's not just not producing, he's actually lying. And then when he's like, oh, well, you weren't there, I'm telling y'all, I actually was there. And y'all are like, well, because y'all don't know whether to believe me or him. No, and I'm not asking you.
I don't think it's...
That's not even required. It's not even required to believe me. But because I'm like, well, it's annoying me, not that he's saying it, but because I know he's lying. Well, go ahead, just produce them saying it, because I know he can't. That's like me saying, okay, Globetard, you want to keep telling me you have measurements of Earth curve? Go ahead and produce it. And then they never produce it. That's him.
Eli,
because I know he's lying.
Eli, let me reassure you.
So I want...
Let me reassure you, Eli. I can't speak of the rest of the guys, but we know how you handle 24/7. We know you have no mercy. You will check everyone just like we check everybody over here. So I know, don't believe, I know that you would never let anything slide like that. You would never condone anything, any of the nonsense. So you don't have to prove yourself. If you want to say the word believe, fine. But I'm very sure that what you're saying is fact, okay? Because you don't let up here. I know you don't let up there. And you know what our motto is. Nobody gets mercy when they come out their face. I've been checked. We don't play that. So trust me, I know, Eli, that it didn't go down the way he's saying it. And if you say you were there, you were there. You have no loyalty. You have no reason to jeopardize your reputation, whether you care to do so or not, by putting yourself on the guillotine block to get your head chopped off to back somebody's lie or somebody's projection. So I got your back. I know I'm behind you. That's all I'm saying.
Well, wait a second. What didn't go down the way I said when Indio said that you can't say that the vacuum of space violates the second law of thermodynamics because the globe is going to say gravity? That most certainly happens.
Hold on. He asked me a question. He asked me that question. I don't care whether somebody said ping pongs or ding dongs in the ling long playing with King Kong. I don't care about what was said because I wasn't there. So I can't say whether what you're saying is true or not. All I'm saying is that I know Eli long enough that he would not going back and forth with you. If he said he was there, he was there. If he heard what he heard, and it's not what you're saying, I'm going to have to.
No, Eli most definitely wasn't there the other day when I talked to
him. It doesn't
him.
matter what was said. Just to clarify, my statement was not about what was said, whether you said it or anybody else said it. My statement was to let Eli know I know him, and unless he, and I even know him to the point where he would say, well, maybe I misheard it, or maybe, maybe I must have walked away. He will humble himself and say if he missed something. Nobody here is out to project to try to make points. So end of story. I don't care about what you said. I don't care who you are. That's all I'm saying. End of story.
No, that's fair.
What I would say though, Eli, is fair enough. Vaxi is not producing the receipts, and you're not Vaxi at any point. But what I would say, Eli, is if you're not in 24/7 on one of the servers, politics or whatever, and you're saying no, that person wouldn't say that. Well, he played stuff last night that he thought he'd never hear. So it's hard to know what's being said or what someone will say if you're not around. Maybe there's things that people won't say if you're around because they know that you'll check them on. The same way as a lot of things wouldn't be said. Just 1 second, Neil. I know where you're going. There's a lot of things that wouldn't be said while QE was there. But when QE's not there, obviously things are being said that he would check someone on or say, what are you on about? So you have to take that into account. Maybe people are.
I do, but I also take into account that people use that gray area to start mischief. That's what's happening. I'm not under any illusions that people in 24/7 don't fuck up. I am the one that points it out to the point that they want to take my status from me. So it's obvious that I'm not going to be missing much. It's not that, like the things that Indio said on the video that we're reviewing, that's not new to me. Just like when we were looking over Witsit, I told y'all that's not new to me because he committed the fallacy of affirming the consequent all the time. It may not have been with the shape of the earth, but it was with 5G or any of those other conversations. I've consistently laid this stuff out. So when it comes to 24/7, I know what the general flavor is. I know what the outliers are, and I know how far people will go. What he's saying is too ridiculous.
No, I'm just saying
everything that Indio said that we've heard as far as the scientific method and all this, that, and the third, I already know that he would be getting criticized for that. Because in the past, Indio has said things where QE is going, oh, no, wait a minute. And I know that that Indio is like, well, I'm doing this for the sake of the conversation. I'm nitpicking, who gives a shit. So I already knew that this would ultimately be the case, that he would be in the future saying some shit that maybe we wouldn't agree with on the technical side. That's not surprising to me. But what Vax is saying, people are saying, is surprising because I know them well. I know their flaws. I know the kind of fallacies that they make, and I know the things that they say and they don't say. Now, I'm not everywhere all the time, but I know what somebody's not. You're not. There's not going to be a world where somebody could come up to you and go, well, you weren't in there the whole time. You know that Eli, you didn't hear Eli say that gravity is something else or something. You'd be like, no.
I understand the situation. You're saying that gray area has been used to cause trouble.
The gray area where people know this is the gray area. You, me, everyone understands that no one can be everywhere at the same time. So oftentimes people say things that are incorrect. He's using the things that Indio did say to promote that 24/7 is saying a bunch of shit that they actually didn't say.
I understand. I understand that he's using the things we did hear people from 24/7 say that were incorrect or whatever they did that wasn't right, that we would critique, using that as support for what he's saying. He's saying they also said, but he's not producing the audio of what they also said. We have heard that audio from QE show or whatever, but we didn't hear the audio he's talking about. But I got that immediately. When he was saying this. Don't think that slipped me by. It didn't. But it's up to him to produce the audio. Otherwise, as I said to him, I personally don't want to be hearing about it. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone else, but I'd say people aren't much different.
Agreed. With that, I'm going to round out this after show. So another massive thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, hit me up on PayPal and Patreon and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.